Bobcat Athletics on KFJB-TV is made possible by Assured Partners, Greg Young of Marshalltown, Lennox Employees Credit Union, Marshalltown Area Chamber, Marshalltown Community College, The Gregors Furniture and Mattress, Sports Plus, Wayward Social, Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown, Marshalltown School District, Scooters of Marshalltown, State Farm, mtownproud.com.
Touchdown, Bobcats, Davis Ragland, pick six. Feldman, that one will get in. That's a good point right there. A shot coming here, that's a goal. Lifted to left center field, gets off the warning track into the wall. Transition three, boom, knocks that one down. And it's a goal, what a beautiful play. Dutton, look what I found over to first. It's a 3-on-1 all the way, yes. There he goes. Over the middle field, beautiful one-handed catch by Johan Gomez, moves the chains up near the 30. Trayshawn Brooks makes the catch at the 25, breaks 2 tackles, touchdown, Bobcats.
Do you think he'll set him on fire if we ask?
Hi, Mom.
On KFJB-TV, it's Bobcat Game Day Live.
It is week number 2 as the Bobcats back at Leonard Colt Field as they take on the Jefferson J-Hawks tonight on KFJB-TV. I'm Brandon Lewis, Dylan Doze alongside me. Welcome into Bobcat Game Day Live as coming up we'll get a preview of East Marshall and West Marshall, what they're doing tonight, plus our Radio Iowa Scouting Report, all presented by Rainbow Car Wash. But tonight's matchup, very similar to last year. A 1-0 team versus an 0-1 team. This was a game last year. Jefferson J-Hawks dominated in the scoreboard. Not so much early on, but 40-0 was the final score. Bobcats really looking to turn things around and bring a much more competitive game here tonight.
The famous author said it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. Last year, it was just the worst of times. Bobcats could not get out of their own way, giving up 20 points late in that second quarter and just got demolished at every level. So you hope that the records are the only thing that are the same from last year. Bobcats are bigger in the trenches. Will that matter? Jayhawks looked really good with a new quarterback last week. Are they just on the ascent? Does Ed Miles have this team prone for playoff success? We'll find out here tonight.
Yeah, we definitely will. The Bobcats will be a man down. Xavier Anderson broke his ankle last week in that kickoff return, and he's going to be out for the rest of the football season. Talked to his dad. Good spirits, but obviously such a tough break for a senior.
That's, and also with his wrestling abilities and what he does, you just feel terrible about it. We saw Jackson Bowie a couple years ago with his leg break ending his season. You feel terrible, but the opportunity. Jamison Niehaus was player of the game last week. He stepped in, got that sack safety that got the Bobcats closer in that one. So he's going to have big shoes to fill, but if last week is any indication, he's going to be ready for it.
Well, it is a beautiful night out here. A cold front coming through. It's going to drop it down into the 40s overnight. This is jacket weather finally this week, Dylan.
Any weather can be jacket weather if you try hard enough.
That is true. Real quick, one thing you're really looking forward to tonight in this matchup between the Jayhawks and the Bobcats?
Really what I'm looking forward to is the running back Tyler England. We saw something last week, and with Xavier Anderson down, I really think he has the wiggle and the juice that the Bobcats maybe can get a home run. That's really what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it should be a fun night. We're looking forward to it. Jayhawks, Bobcats at 7:30 is kickoff. Coming up next, it is our scouting report from Radio Iowa, all presented by Rainbow Car Wash in Marshalltown.
The right insurance agent can make all the difference. Assured Partners agents represent multiple insurance companies. They can pick and choose from a larger variety of outstanding insurance options. Assured Partners also handles life and health insurance and Medicare supplement coverage. With access to local, regional, and national insurance companies, Assured Partners will create policies tailored to the coverage you need. For more information, go online to assuredpartners.com/Marshalltown. Power through partnership with Assured Partners in Marshalltown, Toledo, and West Des Moines.
On KFJB-TV, it's Bobcat Game Day Live.
From Radio Iowa Sports, this is the Scouting Report, an in-depth look at this week's prep and college games. Now from our studios in Des Moines, Todd Kim.
It's the 71st meeting of the Jayhawks series as Iowa State visits Iowa. UNI is at St. Thomas of Minnesota, and in high school football, arch rivals collide in a 5A showdown, and an 8-player, Waco visits Iowa Valley. That and more on the Scouting Report.
Okay, gonna be late. Gotta go. Where'd I put... wallet. Check. And, phone. Check. Keys. Check. Lunch. Check.
Checking for the things you need doesn't take long. But what about checking for your safety? Right now, 1 in every 5 vehicles on the road has an open safety recall. But it only takes seconds to check for open recalls on your car at checktoprotect.org. All you need is your vehicle identification number or license plate number. Your automaker may not have the right information to notify you about recalls by mail, especially if you recently moved or drive an older or used car. Checktoprotect.org is the quick, easy way to find out if your vehicle has an open safety recall and find the closest dealer who can make the repair for free.
Laptop. Check.
Before you go, take a minute. Visit checktoprotect.org. Check to Protect is a program of the National Safety Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
In terms of wins and losses, Iowa has dominated the Jayhawks series recently, having won 7 of 8, heading into Saturday's 71st meeting in Kinnick Stadium. But on the field, it's been anything but lopsided. The Hawkeyes have made a habit of getting outgamed by ISU, but have feasted on mistakes. In fact, Iowa's last 2 wins in the series have included defensive touchdowns. The Cyclones made several big plays in the season-opening win over North Dakota, but the trick against the Iowa defense is to make big plays without getting careless.
That is a fine line, and it's a great balance. I think you know, when you look at a game like this, and being aggressive is one thing, you know, being intelligent is the most important thing. And, you know, there's ways to be aggressive with intelligence along the way. And, you know, in all honesty, both sides of the football, you're going to have to do a great job of that. That'll be a huge impact on this game, in my opinion.
That's ISU coach Matt Campbell. Iowa State quarterback Rocco Becht says the Cyclones have been working on handling the noise inside Kinnick Stadium. The other key in this one, find a way to stay on the field and sustain drives.
If we have 3 and outs, we're not going to win this game, and so we're going to need to sustain long drives and continue to hone in on the details and precision through each drive, and you know, hopefully just come out with some, you know, touchdowns or field goals.
Iowa posted a shutout in a season-opening win over Illinois State, but an experienced Becht makes the ISU offense a much bigger challenge.
I think he's a very confident guy, very, very poised, and just does a good job running their offense. So they've got a really talented group of receivers. Tight end Brahmer's a really good football player, so they've got guys that they can get the ball to, and I'm sure they will. So he's done a really nice job leading their football team, and I'm guessing his best football is still ahead of him.
That's Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz, who gets ready for his 34th game in this series, and Iowa linebacker Jay Higgins hopes the Hawkeyes' big game experience is an advantage.
Luckily, we've got some older guys. I'm year 5. We got a lot of year 6 guys. I mean, we've played in big games before. You know, Big Ten championship last year, bowl game against Tennessee, played at Ohio State. So any of those big games that, you know, the media tries to sell, we've had our fair share. So we just treat it like one of those.
Iowa leads the all-time series 47-23. Kickoff in Kinnick Stadium 2:30. It'll be televised by CBS. After rolling to a season-opening win over Valparaiso, Northern Iowa hits the road to take on St. Thomas of Minnesota. In his first start at quarterback, Aiden Dunn completed 12 of 17 passes for 116 yards and 3 touchdowns in a 35-7 win.
I thought he did a great job. He's a walk-on quarterback from Dubuque that stood in here for 2-3 years to learn the system, and he gets his first start and he operates like that. To me, that was an awesome job for him to build himself into that kind of player in the first game.
That's UNI coach Mark Farley, and Drake is on the road to take on Eastern Washington out of the Big Sky Conference. High school football's next on the Scouting Report.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
The state's best large school rivalry is renewed in week 2 of the high school season, and it's a 1-versus-2 showdown as 5A top-ranked West Des Moines Valley plays number 2 Dowling Catholic. These schools have combined to win 15 large school state titles since 2000. Dowling opened with a win over rated Cedar Rapids Kennedy, and Coach Tom Wilson says the Maroons will face a talented and experienced Tiger team.
We're going to have to play really, really well, and some things would have to fall our way to stay into things, but you know that this rivalry has been that way before, and this game is oftentimes comes to special teams as well, and the kicking game and field position, and wouldn't be surprised if that was the same this week.
Valley opened with a win over 3-time defending 5A champion Southeast Polk, and Coach Gary Swenson says they'll need another big effort against the Maroons.
If we perform like we can, I think we'll have a good chance to win, but any mistakes or, goofball stuff, it's very small margin of error against teams like this.
There are 2 other rated matchups in 5A. 5th-ranked Southeast Polk hosts number 6 Ankeny. It's 7th-ranked Cedar Falls on the road at 9th-ranked Johnston. In Class 4A tonight, 8th-ranked Decorah opened with a victory, and the Vikings are on the road at 3A number 6 West Delaware. Darren Swenson has a preview.
2 perennial Northeast Iowa powers with new head coaches will continue their rivalry Friday night in Manchester. Decorah, under new head coach Mike Tungan, was the only team in the state in Class 4A to shut out their opponent in a 33-0 victory over Waukon in Week 1. West Delaware, under new head coach Ryan King, fell to Highway 20 rival Western Dubuque in Week 1, 21-13. Vikings quarterback Louis Buxa threw for 119 yards and 2 touchdowns against Waukon. Hawks quarterback Brent Yankovic rushed for 124 yards and 2 scores against the Bobcats. The teams have split their last 6 meetings dating back to 2018. I'm Darren Swenson for the Scouting Report.
Also in 4A, top-ranked Lewis Central visits Creston. It's number 2 North Scott at Waverly Shell Rock. 3A, top-ranked Williamsburg is at home against 4A, number 3 Cedar Rapids Xavier, while second-ranked Clear Lake is on the road at New Hampton. This season, Bex is recognizing student athletes that are not only a star in athletics, but a player that shows heart in school, at work, through the community, and in the ag industry. Madeline Ryder of Beckman Catholic in Dyersville has grown up on a family farm and enjoys working with the cow-calf herd.
I've always kind of just loved working with the cattle because they are unpredictable. It's something new every day, and it's always a different challenge, and I like that aspect of always having a different challenge on your hands to deal with.
For Southeast Valley's Cale Van Sickle, interest in farming took off after his father let him drive a tractor at a young age.
Probably about 4 or 5, we have an old International M. He let me drive that around the yard. I used to always sit on his lap, and he always let me steer.
Cord Hamilton from Central Decatur has worked with livestock since he was young, and it sparked an interest in showing animals.
From my sisters, they used to always show livestock before me, and I always helped them when they were getting their livestock ready for the show day. And I've always been really intrigued with that since I started helping them. And it just went from there.
And Rachel Ehlers of Davenport West has been active on her family farm and even owns her own show goat business.
When I started 4-H, I was about 9 years old, and I knew I wanted to show a goat. So I ended up going over to my neighbor's house, and I showed a couple of his goats, and I just fell in love with it. And then a couple years later, I had the opportunity to buy 28 bred does. So every year we've been growing, and now we have about 80 total.
Beck's Players with Heart. The rest of Week 2 is next on the Scouting Report.
At Beck's, we stand up for the things that matter most: our faith, our independence, and helping farmers succeed. As the largest family-owned seed company in the U.S., we believe in the integrity of remaining an independent family-owned seed company. Since our founding in 1937, we have continued to produce quality products backed by a quality family of employees and dealers dedicated to serving American farmers. And that's something to be proud of. Beck's. Founded in faith, forged in America. For more information, visit BecksHybrids.com.
Hey Iowa, it's George Kittle, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers and proud former Hawkeye. Life can throw unexpected hits, much like catching a pass over the middle. If you're facing struggles with drug or alcohol use, or even mental health challenges, take a time out and call Your Life Iowa. Just like my teammates are there for me, the Your Life Iowa team is there for you. Get 24/7 free resources or find treatment options at yourlifeiowa.org.
A message from Iowa HHS.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
Rateds collide in 8-player District 6 when number 6 Waco visits 8th-ranked Iowa Valley. With a young offensive line, Waco has used the arm of quarterback Clayton Miller in a 2-0 start. He has 496 yards of passing and 10 touchdowns as teams have loaded up against the run. Iowa Valley counters with sophomore signal caller Nolan Kriegel. He's rushed for 406 yards and 10 touchdowns in a 2-0 start. Iowa Valley coach Casey Kroll says the running of Kriegel is a product of the entire offense.
But we got to give a lot of credit for our success to our offensive line and then our receivers blocking and our running backs blocking as well. But Nolan's a dynamic runner and does a really nice job of, being patient, finding the hole, and then he can, beat you with his arm too if we need to. So we just kind of, try to balance out the run and the pass.
Waco coach Chad Edeker says games like these often come down to mistakes and turnovers.
Part of the reason we've won our first 2 games is because we're a positive turnover margin on both games. We've forced a few and haven't had a lot. The biggest mistakes we make right now is we're still a little penalty prone. We're still doing some things, getting linemen downfield. We're holding a little. We're doing some things that are just too obvious, and we need to make sure we clean that up and not make those mistakes.
There's one other rated matchup in 8-player. It finds number 7 Audubon at home against 10th-ranked Colonesco. Class A, IKM Manning entered the Radio Iowa rankings this week, heading into tonight's game at home against Panorama. Noah Caruso has a preview.
IKM Manning entered at number 10 in the latest polls after a 49-34 victory over Esac County in Week 1. IKM Manning had an effective night running the football as they ran for 295 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. But for head coach Corey McCarville, he believes this offense can reach a new high by executing the passing game.
We feel like there's a number of play-action passes that could be effective for us. Those are some of the things that we'd like to, kind of establish a little bit more.
The Wolves gave up over 350 yards of total offense against Esac County, as Coach McCarville wants to see a quick improvement from his defensive side.
We had, by the tape that we watched, we had a very high number of missed tackles. We overran a lot of plays. There's just a lot of fundamental things on the defensive side that we just did not do a very good job of, giving up that many yards and that many points.
As for the Panorama Panthers, they entered this contest 0-1 after a tightly contested 28-21 loss to West Central Valley. Panorama was able to run the ball well in their own right with 240 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. From Manning for KDSN Sports and the Radio Iowa Scouting Report, I'm Noah Caruso.
Also in Class A, it's top-ranked Woodbury Central visiting Westwood. Number 2 ACGC is at home against Earlham. In 1A, rivals meet as number 9 AHSTW hosts Riverside. Chris Varney reports.
Riverside is led by junior tailback Jackson Gordon, who put up 185 yards last week in a blowout win over West Monona. AHSTW head coach Gigi Harris.
He's a lot stronger. You can tell he's put a lot of time in the offseason. One, we got to stop him in the box. And, if they want to run inside, we got to make it bounce and make it go outside. Obviously, if they want to go outside, we want to flush it back in. And so that's going to be primary number one is we got to control him.
The Vikings last week gave up a 78-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, but then answered as Luke Stenberg returned the very next kick 95 yards for a score to key a 26-21 comeback win over Tri-Center. Now it's the 59 rivalry. Bulldogs head coach Daryl Frayne.
Yeah, it is. When it's a rivalry, and like you said, when we're close, our communities are kind of close to each other, so it adds a little bit to it. So I'm sure they're going to come out on fire because Gigi always has them ready when they play us. So
both teams 1-0 as Riverside visits AHSTW. For the Scouting Report, I'm Chris Varney.
Also in Class 1A, it's top-rated OABCIG at home against East Sac County, while number 2 Grundy Center visits Appleton Parkersburg. And in Class 2A, top-ranked Van Meter is at number 9 Des Moines Christian, while second-ranked Spirit Lake visits Sioux Center. That's all for the Scouting Report. For Radio Iowa Sports, I'm Todd Kim.
Rainbow Car Wash has been in town over 40 years. New owners Brett and Kim Kennedy have been with Rainbow for more than 35 years, focusing on quality, cleanliness, and great customer service. Open 24 hours year-round with 2 convenient locations. Each location has 2 oversized truck bays to accommodate large vehicles. All bays except quarters. And for your convenience, newly installed credit, debit, Apple Pay, and Samsung Pay featuring Swipe or Tap to Pay, powerful vacuums, and a great selection of vending supplies. Follow us on Facebook at Rainbow Car Wash, LLC.
Bobcat Athletics on KFJB-TV is sponsored by Assured Partners, power through partnership. Greg Young Chevrolet of Marshalltown. Drive with Greg Young and experience top auto service and selection. And Lennox Employees Credit Union, LennoxECU.com.
Well, it is a beautiful Friday night, week number 2, as the Bobcats getting warmed up as they get ready to take on Cedar Rapids Jefferson, the Jayhawks in town, as both these teams prepare to warm up for tonight. Kickoff right around 7:30. We take a look around the conference, all presented by Real Deals in downtown Marshalltown. This is usually the night we see the Little Cyclones and the Little Hawks, but of course, with the flip and a late start to the season, that game will be next week. So Ames is at home or on the road tonight. They take on the Jaguars of Ankeny Centennial, as Ames already 0-1 on the season.
Yeah, Waukee took it to him. Ankeny Centennial had to take on the Hawks of Ankeny last week, but looked good doing it as well.
Des Moines East takes on Des Moines Lincoln. We'll keep an eye on that one. The Bobcats will see Lincoln later this year.
And Lincoln always has done a good job against the Bobcats. So last year, Bobcats were able to run all over them. See what the Scarlet can do in that matchup.
Big matchup in the CIML tonight. Southeast Polk and Ankeny tonight. That's another big game going on around the state.
Yeah, you get those Metro matchups, and the spotlight is right there. The Hawks struggled a little bit last week. See if they can get back off the schneid against the Rams, and that's not the team I want to face if I'm coming off a loss.
Waukee Northwest was at home last year, and they defeated Waukee. They had the lights going. I don't know if you remember seeing that game last year, but it was an insane atmosphere. They play each other tonight in the Battle of Waukee.
And that's where you go it's kind of that big brother, little brother is the fact Waukee Northwest has not been around for a whole lot, so see if Waukee can keep it rolling after the destruction of Ames last week.
Yeah, and Johnston and Cedar Falls also kicking off tonight in week number 2. So that is a look around the conference. Real Deals, tell them go Bobcats for a special discount located in downtown Marshalltown. Dylan will have a preview of the East Marshall Mustangs, his alma mater, as well as West Marshall Trojans when we come back on Bobcat Game Day Live on KFJB-TV.
Hey Bobcat fans, are you looking for the latest in home decor and women's fashion? Real Deals is a locally owned boutique right here in downtown Marshalltown. We're your one-stop shop for home decor, the latest in women and teens fashion, plus a great place to get gifts for all the loved ones. Stop by our boutique and say, "Go Bobcats!" for a special discount. Real Deals is open Wednesday through Saturday. Grab a friend, bring your family members, and see what our locally owned boutique is all about. Can't wait to see you at Real Deals in downtown Marshalltown.
On KFJB-TV, it's Bobcat Game Day Live.
Welcome back into the West Marshall preview presented by Bailey's Pizza and Broasted Chicken in State Center. Open Friday through Sunday, 4:30 to 8:30. Last week in the Highway 30 rivalry between West Marshall and Nevada, the Cubs took care of West Marshall 33-7. Quarterback Michael Lechner did have over 100 yards on the ground for West Marshall. Wasn't as efficient in the air, 4 of 12. Ben Gonzalez struggled a little bit on the ground, and now they have to face a fellow 0-1 team, South Hamilton. South Hamilton, West Marshall had taken care of them for years until last year. Over 400 yards of rushing, 7 touchdowns on the ground, and West Marshall got demolished 48-13. For West Marshall to have an opportunity to even up that record at 1-1, it's going to go on the shoulders. Can Lechner both run the football but also be more efficient in the pass game? And then Ben Gonzalez on both sides of the field, he's going to have to be that second head of a rushing tandem for West Marshall to go 1-1. And that has been the West Marshall preview presented by Bailey's Pizza and Broasted Chicken in State Center. Open Friday through Sunday, 4:30 to 8:30.
Bailey's Pizza and Broasted Chicken and West Marshall football have long been State Center traditions. And with a year full of changes, it seems like traditions are harder and harder to come by. While where you enjoy it might have changed, Bailey's commitment to delicious pizza and broasted chicken can still be found in every bite. Enjoy the local tradition of Bailey's Pizza and Broasted Chicken, open Friday through Sunday, 4:30 to 8:30 for carry-out only. Bailey's Pizza and Broasted Chicken in State Center, proud sponsors of West Marshall football.
Welcome back into the East Marshall preview brought to you by Laurel Diesel Services, your locally owned, qualified diesel mechanics. East Marshall Mustangs sit at 1-0 after a 19-7 beating of the BC LUW Comets. Behind East Marshall, Drew Weeder was an absolute stud last week. 17 rushes, 157 yards on the ground, 2 TDs to go along with 9 tackles. He was everywhere all at once. East Marshall goes into rarefied air. Can they go 2-0? They travel down to Cedar. Cedar beat this team 35-18 last year. East Marshall had beat them 46-0 the year before. And for East Marshall really to have a shot to go 2-0 here, I think it's going to be on Jacob Farrington. Farrington, the quarterback, threw for almost 250 yards last week. I think he's going to have to be able to hook up with sophomore Eli Burns. That's a name, I graduated with his dad. We're starting to get a little bit old, but Eli Burns is quite a good athlete, had 3 receptions, 50 yards last weekend. I think a Farrington Burns, along with Drew Weeder and Slifer on the ground, I think those are a big deal for East Marshall to move 2-0. And that has been the East Marshall preview presented by Laurel Diesel Services, your locally owned, qualified diesel mechanics.
When Mike Overton moved to Laurel, Iowa, he had a vision to have a diesel repair shop that would support his growing family and passion for working on diesel engines. Being part of the East Marshall community means ensuring that farmers, truck drivers, and businesses run smoothly. With a large building and state-of-the-art equipment, Laurel Diesel Services is always up for a challenge. When your farm trucks, semis, or other diesel equipment requires maintenance or the occasional repair, take it to Laurel Diesel Services.
At Greg Young Automotive, we go the extra mile for our customers across Iowa. Why do customers choose us and keep coming back? Because our commitment to exceptional service and satisfaction never wavers. With our extensive network of dealerships throughout Iowa, we leverage unbeatable pricing and offer a better inventory selection than other dealerships. Visit any of our 6 locations across the state and experience the Greg Young difference, where we'll go the extra mile for you.
You look forward to retirement as your time to relax. But now that it's here, turns out relaxation is overrated and you'd rather get back to work with an idea of your own. Wells Fargo Advisors can help. For more than 125 years, we've created wealth management and investment strategies aimed at achieving our clients' personal financial goals. When retirement plans change course, turn to Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Advisors is located at 14 East South Ridge Road in Marshalltown. Call them at 641-752-5401. They're a member SIPC.
This is the countdown to kickoff on your home for the Bobcats, KFJB-TV.
Well, it is panning out to be an awesome week number 2 as the Bobcats getting ready to take on the Cedar Rapids Jefferson J-Hawks tonight. Brandon Lewis, Dylan Does alongside me as our producer Zach Tomish, David Braga on stats, and of course our producer back at the radio studios, Jeff Brooks. And on camera tonight, Keith Stewart, Joe Cornwell, as just an awesome Friday night setting up here last week. We had a really great night. Obviously, the game didn't quite pan out the way that things had hoped for Bobcat faithful. 26-25 loss to the Mason City Riverhawks. Obviously, much better year over year. What we saw, physicality, performance, execution. You know, I really was impressed by, I know you mentioned special teams, but I was impressed. There wasn't a ton of yellow out on the field. You know, management of the game I thought was really pretty well for week number 1. Also not a lot of cramps. So a lot of really good things. What are you kind of setting the bar, the expectations going into tonight, knowing the Bobcats really feel the pressure's on to get that victory?
It comes down to, I was impressed, and you mentioned it, is the physicality. Last year, this team lacked physicality at every single level. And then this year, they came out, they hit them out. It was a game of 3 plays. If the Bobcats don't give up 2 kickoff returns and a halfback pass, this game is locked and loaded. But those points still matter, so the Bobcats have to tighten that up. I thought, though, that they defensively did not get pushed around. Offensive line was able to make holes. So to me, it really comes down to executing on small things. I think the talent is there this year to win a lot more games than last year, but it will come down to they're not so talented that they can make a bunch of mistakes like they did last week and expect to win.
Yeah, that's a good point, because this offense, which we found out last week too, it's not built to come back from, you know, major deficits. So if you find yourself down by a couple of scores, it's going to be really hard to find your way back into this game. And that's the thing about defensively tonight. You're going to have to be sound, because this is a Cedar Rapids Jefferson team. Say what you want about the style of play. They run a ton of formations, a ton of different plays, but they've got some guys who are home run threats, and that's what the Bobcats ran into last week. There was a home run threat in Hobart, and they failed to stop him in the first half. And even though the Bobcats played one of the best halves of football that you can see in a while, it still wasn't enough to get them over the hump and get the victory.
No, not at all. And the Jayhawks they'll take you east to west. They'll throw it. They like to throw it within that 10-yard window. They'll run it. Calolero's a really good back. Ashar Calolero had over 100 yards last year, had 82 last week with a touchdown. LJ Nienow, we'll talk a little bit about him later, but he'll take it to the house. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Vernon Benda, for his first start, 15-18, super efficient. So the Bobcats are going to have to keep everything in front of themselves. What has bitten the Bobcats for a while are safeties looking in the backfield.
Yeah.
Because they have been burned over top time after time. Again, they cannot allow that to happen, and don't miss tackles.
Yeah, that is for sure. Got to be sound fundamentally. When we come back, we will get Dylan's Scouting Report, all brought to you by Century Plumbing. This is Bobcat Football. You're watching KFJB-TV.
The equity in your home is power. Power to remodel your home. Take a memorable vacation. Add a deck or patio. Lennox Employees Credit Union can help you unleash the financial power you possess with a home equity loan. Consolidate debt, fund a student loan, or pay for a wedding. The loan process is easy. See Lennox Employees Credit Union, 1004 East Main Street in Marshalltown. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. Online at lennoxecu.com.
This is the countdown to kickoff on your home for the Bobcats, KFJB-TV.
Time for tonight's Scouting Report on the Jefferson J-Hawks, all presented by Century Plumbing. Dylan.
You look at the 4-5 last year, Jayhawks of Cedar Rapids Jefferson. Again, doesn't sound like a great record, but they haven't won since COVID. before then. Ed Miles in his third year really is building something there. And last year, Sherman Hopkins destroyed us. The good news is he graduated. The bad news is that defensive line is still fully intact. When you look at number 43, Anthony Snowdy, he just was one of just a machine that really destroyed the Bobcats up front. That's where the game was lost, was the defensive line was in the backfield all night long. So Anthony Snowdy, Nelson Evans, Jaden McCauley, and Darius Nixon is where the Jayhawks defense revolves around, along with linebacker LJ Alofe. You see him right there. That's a big man with bad intentions is what Snowdy is, and the Bobcats have to block.
Not only is he Snowdy, but he's Snowdy the third. So, there's a long line of guys that look like that can get the job done.
They have a long history of destroying offensive lines. But they were fantastic. I watched the game this week, and I said I remember it being bad. It was worse than I remember. They were so good up front. So we'll talk about the offense. The offense, they like to dink and dunk and then maybe go up top or see Calero be able to run it. But to me, it's all about that front four. Against Muscatine, the starting four had 31 tackles. 31 tackles by a defensive line in a game is ridiculous. And it's all right there. If they can control the line of scrimmage, I see the Jayhawks putting another W in the column.
That is your Scouting Report, all presented by Century Plumbing, specializing in service plumbing in Marshalltown. The Cat Connection and our pregame chat with Adam Goodvin coming up on the Countdown to Kickoff on KFJB-TV.
When you need a plumber quickly, try Century Plumbing of Marshalltown. We specialize in service plumbing, not new construction or large remodels, so we get to our customers faster, from clogged drains to water heaters and everything in between. We can help with a guaranteed appointment and quality efficient service. I'm Sarah, co-owner of Century Plumbing, and I'd love to book your appointment today. Call 641-750-0108. That's 641-750-0108.
It is our Cat Connection, all brought to you by State Farm, Tyler Prashong Agency, mtownproud.com. Now joined by senior lineman Owen Eaton for the Marshalltown Bobcats, a starter at center and both on the defensive line of things. All right, I'll start there. All right, you're hitting guys when you're on defense, right? And then you're trying to execute those blocks against guys who you're trying to dominate again as well. So how's that changeover when you go offense to defensive line? Plus, I know you got some high snap counts, so you're trying to stay fresh out there as well. How do you kind of balance that?
It's a lot of technique work. You got to make sure you're not doing defensive stuff on offense. Offense, you kind of want to get close with the defensive lineman on defense. You want to keep them far, so you just got to make sure, don't get in your own head. Just make sure to do what you're told.
Of course, last year I know you played a little bit of guard, a little bit of center, that kind of thing. So what's the main difference, I guess, for maybe somebody who's never played the line? What's the difference, maybe assignments, that kind of thing?
Center, I think it's a little easier because you're not normally on an island by yourself. With a guard, you might have to take on maybe a 3-tech or a 3-4 tech just by yourself. If you're at center, then you normally have a little help. So if you're getting beat, you can always ask one of your guards to help you. But when you're a guard or a tackle, you don't really have that luxury. It's just a lot of name games. Just figure out how to get stuff done.
Yeah. Of course, we see a little bit of a different lineup this year at offensive line. Jackson Hinkle, you've got Schaefer, a couple new other guys in there as well too that really impressed last week. So how do you feel like all five of you up front really feeling cohesive right now?
I think we're feeling better than ever this week. Last week was really a trial run. It was the first game for Arian. I grew up with him. He's never played football before. This is his first season ever playing, and I think he's doing a heck of a job. Lincoln, he played a little guard freshman year, but he's just getting back in the groove of offensive line. He did a great job. Jackson moved over from tackle. He's doing an amazing job at guard. Jonathan, he's putting up crazy weight room numbers, so he's doing really good at guard too. And I feel like this is the best we've had in a long time for linemen and cohesion. We're all good friends. We hang out, get stuff done.
You know, I know Nick Lucas was such a really good center. He's on the coaching staff for the younger levels. You ever talk to him or pick anything up from him? Because he was a heck of a guy there at center to kind of learn from.
My sophomore year, it was rough for me at the start. He helped me learn all the technique-wise for guard center. He helped me out a lot. And I remember his senior night game, came up to him after the game and told him what an inspiration he made for me, and that we've kind of kept a bond ever since. And I've seen great stuff come out of him down at Miller. Still talk to him every now and then, but great guy.
Yeah, that is for sure. That's great to hear. So, you're mixed up in your senior year. Do you have any goals, kind of things you're looking forward to out of this team?
I really want to make the playoffs at least one time in my career. If we can go farther than that, that'd be amazing. Of course, state championship's the ultimate goal, but can't have everything you want. If we had a state championship, I'd be elated, but we got to take small steps. From last week, we have a lot to improve upon for sure, but I think we can go far this year. I'd like to make all-state or all-district first team this year. Cut short last year, sickness and all that. Got to live up to brothers' expectations.
Of course, as we get into week number 2, Cedar Rapids, Jefferson, what do you know on that offensive line you guys are going to have to do well to be successful offensively?
Stay low, get off the ball fast. I know they got some big guys. I've seen their tape. They're pretty strong dudes. I think if we stay low, we work together, we call out things, we make sure all of us work together good as a unit, we'll be able to push them down, beat them down like we did last week.
Seems like you guys really have bought into the new style offense. Would you say so?
I think we have, really. When we first got it, maybe people were a little more on the hesitant side. It's not very often you see a flex bone in high school anymore. But as we've gone through the summer and the first few weeks of practice, we really started to figure out that it really works. And I think I like it personally. It's a lot more hard-nosed, which is my personal type of football. I don't like all the fancy stuff. More like 70s.
Yeah, 3 yards and a cloud of dust, except you get no dust out there on that new turf.
I know. I love the turf. It's nice for my hands.
Yeah, I bet so. All right, last question for you is we're talking with Owen Eaton, senior year. What other activities you involved with?
I did track last year. I like lifting on the free time. I was on the math team last year.
Okay, all right.
Kind of forced into that, but that's pretty much it. I did do a summer camp gig this summer. Played a little basketball against kids, taught them sports, and then the whole shebang.
Awesome. Well, good to hear a Bobcat giving back in the community. Owen Eaton, best of luck rest of the season, all right?
All right, thank you very much, man.
All right, that is our Cat Connection, all brought to you by State Farm, Tyler Prashong Agency, mtownproud.com.
At Tyler Prashong State Farm, we are M-Town Proud.
For us, M-Town Proud is about having absolute pride in the place that we live and work. The people in this community represent everything that I believe in and everything I want to instill in my children.
Hardworking,
Diverse,
genuine,
kind, and passionate.
a blue-collar town that has shown countless times we can depend on each other.
We'd love to talk to you about what makes you
M-Town Proud.
Welcome back into the countdown to kickoff right here on KFJB-TV. It is our Exterior Plus Home Remodeling pregame interview with head coach Adam Goodvin. Coach, coming off a 26-25 nail-biter against Mason City last week. Week 1 to week 2, we talked about it, that growth. What did you see out of your team in practice that really stood out and kind of rebounding, getting that win in week 2?
I think practice gradually got better throughout the week. I think we started a little sluggish, was the way we described it on Tuesday. Monday's sort of a fix-it day and then a scout day. So, we got back to work on Tuesday, started a little slow, and then we really challenged the kids to step up. And, we talk about habits all the time and finding those and being consistent with our effort. And it did gradually get better, and the kids understand it. To my knowledge, it seems like they do. So, that's the biggest thing is that our focus is on ourselves and making sure that we're putting in the effort needed to be successful.
Was that so much response to the game last Friday night, or do you think first week of school?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's tough. I tend to forget, first day of school, you never have a great practice afterwards. And we did talk about it and recognize that, but, it's not an excuse, made sure the kids understand that. And, for the most part, they did.
Bumped up a little bit last week. Xavier Anderson, specifically a lower leg injury. How's he doing?
He's in good spirits. He fortunately does not have to get surgery on that, so he's going to be in a walking boot for 6 to 8 weeks. So, like I told you last week, we're hopeful that his recovery process goes smoothly, and he's able to compete again soon.
Now, Christensen, a couple of years ago, was an early injury in the season. Jackson Bowie was not too long into the season. What's your message to guys about the next man up and filling those roles?
Well, it's just a great, it's unfortunate, but it is an eye opener. They can see that if you're not best preparing yourself in practice and taking care of your role and doing your duties, then you're really hurting the team, because you truly never know.
One of those guys that replaced him was Jamison Niehaus at linebacker. He comes up with a huge safety and a sack. Could you ask much more for a guy stepping into a role like that?
No, absolutely not. And it's going to be fun to watch his progress and watch him continue to grow as a linebacker. And the big thing about Jamison is he's just a football player. He's a great quarterback. And then this week he's really pumped up about playing some linebacker for us. So excited for him.
We talked to Sam Griesel on Bobcat Live this week. He said special teams was a focus. Obviously, 2 big kickoff returns for a touchdown. What's your message to your special teams crew after that week 1?
You got to apply what we practice into every single rep that you get on Friday nights, and then the effort piece as well. You can't go out there and run out of your lanes or forget to make a block or do your own technique and things like that. It's we're trying to pound it into their heads that this is what we need to do and this is how we do it. Now go out and execute it. So it's just the consistency aspect as far as special teams goes.
Especially the 3 levels. It's probably a good reminder there too that not just offensive, defense, but special teams can really swing a game.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it's common that, I think the average fan kind of forgets about and, could look at the game and say, man, I don't know how the Bobcats lost that. But, no, sure enough, special teams is extremely important. And we discussed, all preseason and then obviously now how if you don't do your job, it can either win or it can lose you a game. And we learned that firsthand. And, hopefully one of these times, maybe Friday night, it can win us a game too. So we'll see.
246 rushing yards on the ground offensively in week number 1. It was a very impressive approach, especially with that new offense, the offensive lineman. Do you feel like that rushing game is ready to take another leap forward this week with Ragland and England back there ready to tilt the rock?
Yeah, I do. Like you said, those two have been awesome so far this fall and obviously last week. And then Jacob Hayes is doing an outstanding job. But I think first and foremost, it starts up front. Those guys were our offensive line was extremely physical on Friday, and I was very impressed. And, we're really pushing them to continue to grow in that area and as far as their technique and really hone in on the specifics of their jobs and, looking for great improvement out of them this week as well.
You guys hit each other, all August, really. And then finally you get that actual game film against another team. I know you had a scrimmage, but week number 1 is probably a little bit different in how you assess your team. So is there one big thing that you took away from film, being able to finally get a good look at your team after taking on a different opponent?
Yeah, I think, our feeling walking away from the game Friday night was it was hard to find the words to say because we felt like we played well. And, you look at the stats and you watch the film, and there are a lot of little things that we need to clean up and that we've been focused on throughout this week. And, like I told you, I think it's all fixable too, and the kids understand that, and getting them to understand what we're talking about has been fun. They're wanting to learn and fix things. So, we're hopeful that we can see those changes on film this week as well.
We'll talk more about tonight's opponents with head coach Adam Goodin. The Jefferson J-Hawks in town to take on the Bobcats. This is your Exterior Plus Home Remodeling pregame chat with Coach Goodin. More coming up right here on KFJB-TV.
My name's Blake Schultz. I'm the co-owner of Exterior Plus Home Remodeling. At Exterior Plus, we truly strive to build relationships one customer at a time. And that's why we're the Midwest's #1 choice in full home remodels. Located in Marshalltown, Iowa, as well as Lincoln, Nebraska, we pride ourselves in providing quality service on time, every time. Give us a call for a free inspection and estimate at 844-261-6111. That's 844-261-6111. Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Back in on the countdown to kickoff right here on KFJB-TV. It is the Jayhawks and Bobcats coming up in a little bit. We'll take a look at our starters for the Bobcats and Jayhawks in just a moment. But tonight, your quarterback underneath center, Jacob Hayes, he looked really good last week, 98 rushing yards, did a nice job underneath helm, finding, the right guys. He hit a Raglan out in the flat for a nice 10-yard pickup through the air. Didn't pass a whole lot, but that is obviously due to the different style in offense. And it was this game a year ago where kind of came in near the end, spelling Xavier Anderson against the Jayhawks in week number 2, and then week number 3 he took over. So you've had kind of a year to kind of assess Jacob Hayes. We talked about him a little bit coming into the season, winning that quarterback battle, but week 1, just his composure, being able to control, you could kind of see that maturation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's a learner. He's always asking me, what can we do better? What did you think of film? Things like that. And that's what you want out of a quarterback. And he doesn't get flustered, which is awesome. You need that as well. And he's trying to bring some other guys along with him as far as that mental part of the game goes. And, very proud of him and his continuous effort.
Tonight you take on the Jefferson J-Hawks, and of course 33-14 they took down Muscatine in week number 1. Their quarterback Benda, he can pass it a little bit. He likes his wide receiver number 1 Nino, and those two can hook up. Plus Benda's a little bit athletic, who can kind of scramble around. He had 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground last week. So multifaceted. You were talking just a little bit. They throw a lot at your defense. So what do you know the defense is going to have to do well tonight to be able to match up?
Well, I think, like you said, number 1, Nino, or however you pronounce it, he's a phenomenal football player. He runs great routes, and obviously there's a reason why he wants to go to him very often. I think they completed first 4 passes of the game last week were to him. And, they've got a good connection. So we've got to identify where he's at, and we've got to, identify the formations that we're seeing right from the beginning, and, recognize if it's 3-by-1, 2-by-2, and whether that's, double tight, single tight end to a side or whatever it is. But and then from there, just executing and doing our assignment.
Last year, this was a Jayhawk team that started out the season really hot. I believe they ended up getting ranked in the top 10 or so at one point early on in the season, and they came out with a 40-0 victory against the Bobcats a year ago. So Ed Miles has them in the right direction. Do you feel like they've continued to improve from where they kind of left off last year?
Yeah, I think so. I think, they've got a quality coach. I think they're well coached, and I think, a lot of these guys, you already mentioned the Benda kid. I think it feels like he's been there forever. He came in against us a few years ago when he was a 9th grader, and then, looking at the roster now, he's only a junior. So it's a lot of these kids have played varsity football from the time they were young, 9th graders, and they're continuing to get better. They're buying into what their coach is asking out of them, but it's going to be a big challenge for us. A lot of athletes running around the field.
Really physical game last week. Is that kind of your key to victory here tonight?
Yeah, it is. We've got to bring the physicality from the opening kickoff, and our kids know that. We ask them to mentally prepare for this type of football game from the opening kickoff, starting on Wednesday nights. So I think that's a big piece of it is getting that through to them from a mental aspect.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, that's head coach Adam Goodin. That is our Exterior Plus Home Remodeling pregame chat. When we come back, it is our starting lineups. We'll take a look at who's going for both defense and offense for the Bobcats and Jayhawks. This is Bobcat Football. You're watching KFJB-TV.
Bobcat Athletics on KFJB-TV is sponsored by the Marshalltown School District. Embrace the lead. Scooters of Marshalltown. Amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. And State Farm. mtownproud.com.
Back in on the countdown to kickoff tonight on KFJB-TV. Time to get our starting lineups, all brought to you by Sandvik Enterprises in Marshalltown. Let them deliver for you while we deliver you the starting lineup. First out for the offense for the Jefferson J-Hawks, Vernon Benda will get the start tonight. He accounted for 4 touchdowns last week for this Jefferson J-Hawk offense, 3 through the air, 1 on the ground. Ishara Colalero, he is the starting running back, 852 yards on the ground a year ago with 10 touchdowns. And the big target, LJ Nenau, the wide receiver, 8 receptions, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns a week ago. Defensively, it's the defensive line, which defense was the main point of Dylan's scouting report earlier. It's Anthony Snowdy down there, the third on that defensive line. Nelson Evans, Jaden McCauley, Darius Nixon, all guys who get the job done. And then Zabo, the linebacker, Eli Zabo, Caden James, and LJ Ilofe. He is a really good linebacker as well, so they are very strong on the defensive side. For the Marshalltown Bobcats on offense tonight, it'll be Jacob Hayes underneath center, and he will go tonight as he just was 1 or 2 last week for 10 yards. He had 9 touchdown passes a year ago. We'll see if they go to the air more here tonight. Davis Ragland will get the start at running back. Smitherman, Kyle Smith out there, split out the slots. And then the line, Verdinas, Hinkle, Eaton, Schaefer, Hancock, and Lincoln Barker as well. On defense tonight for the Marshalltown Bobcats, we'll see Ignacio Macias in this game a year ago. He had 3 total tackles, a guy who had 2 sacks last year. We'll see if he can get some of that pressure for the Bobcat defense here tonight. That's your starting lineup, so brought to you by Sandvik Enterprises in Marshalltown. Kickoff is next right here on your home for the Cats, KFJB-TV.
Life can take unexpected turns. Maybe you started college, but life got in the way. At Marshalltown Community College, we understand. It's never too late to chase your dreams. Come back to where your journey began. Rediscover your passion for learning and let us help you achieve your goals. Schedule a visit today at MarshalltownCommunityCollege.com.
Marshalltown Community College, a step in the right direction.
This one's going to be blocked back at the 10-yard line. Touchdown, Bobcats! Pass over the middle of the field, and Yohan Gomez catches it. 25, he's loose all the way in for a Bobcat touchdown. One man to beat, and he will. And Ignacio Macias, he comes down to the pile with it.
Bobcat football starts now.
Week two for the Marshalltown Bobcats as they get ready to take on the Cedar Rapids Jefferson J-Hawks tonight on KFJB-TV. Bobcats look for revenge tonight after a 40-0 loss at the hands at Kingston Stadium in Cedar Rapids. Dylan Does alongside me. I'm Brandon Lewis. Dylan, this is a pivotal game. I know it's only week number 2, but you've only got 9 weeks to get the job done, and you're already 0-1.
It's a really big deal. It was a 40-0 score, but it was 0-0 with 2 minutes left to go in that second quarter. Xavier Anderson threw a 60-plus yard pick six, and it kind of rolled from there. Bobcats couldn't do anything. Bobcats have to come off the mat after losing a heartbreaker last week, and they have got to match the intensity of the Jayhawks from the first kick.
This was a team a week ago. We saw the scrimmage. Not overly impressed, but last week, the physicality, the play, can it all come together? Because defense, offense was great, but special teams, that was a focus this week in practice. As we talked to Sam Griesel, they've got to stop that aspect here tonight.
I expect it to come together tonight because I felt like they got more and more comfortable with that triple option, with the flex bone, and to maybe be able to add a particular wrinkle and be able to throw the football off of that a little bit. And then defensively, I thought they got better as the time got forward. They gave up no points in that second half.
All right, we'll get to the first-rate real estate, firstrateteam.com. Keys to the game, Dylan.
Keys to the game, first for the Bobcats, is a bigger, better, and better Bobcats. We know they're stronger in the trenches, but are they going to get a W? That's what I'm looking for. And then Nenow by now he had a huge touchdown, 80-yard touchdown last week. 8 catches, almost 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bobcats have to control him on the outside.
Really nice crowd on hand for our kickoff tonight, all presented by Century 21, Marshalltown's #1 home team, the polyrealestate.com. All right, so the ball teed up at the 40. Luis Monghay set to kick it away. 5 kickoffs, no touchbacks last week. See if he can get his first of the season, and it looks like he just might. No, to the 5-yard line. It will be fielded by Cedar Rapids Jefferson and brought down at the 25-yard line. Good gain tackle right there by the Marshalltown Bobcats as Nenow, you have me all fooled, Dylan. Nenow on the return right there up to the 25-yard line, and that is where the Jefferson J-Hawks will start here tonight on their opening drive. So Vernon Benda, we'll get a look at him. We saw last year Jeremiah Pfeiffer, 926 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He was somewhat erratic. It seems like Benda might be one of those guys who can really operate this offense at a high level, as we see 4 wide receivers split out, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. And it is a wide receiver screen as he goes to Nenow right out of the gate here, and that is a good wrap-up tackle on the far side of the field for the Bobcats. Ragland out of his linebacker spot, wrap it up to make the tackle, only a gain of 2 for Nenow.
And you've seen right there what the Jayhawks like to do. They like to play east to west, get it out to Nenow, see can he make a play. So if the Bobcats, both on the kickoff return and on that catch, if they can stay in their lanes, if they can have that toughness and that efficiency, Bobcats are looking good early on.
2nd down and 8 at the 28-yard line. A little bit of a high snap. Benda brings it down, shuffles his feet, comes out near side. Nenow makes the catch as he works back by the defender, and he's up to the 33-yard line as Pramada is there to help make the tackle for the Bobcat defenders. Another nice gain. It sets up a short 3rd down and 2, and so that's a 6-yard pickup for Nenow as one of the guys on this team, a leader. 34 receptions, 517 yards a year ago with 3 touchdowns, and he almost tied that last week as he had 2 touchdown receptions. Benda on 3rd and 2nd. He's got his running back to his right side. Brings a man in motion, handoff right up the gut. Ragland's going to come up with a stop. A gain of 1. It will be 4th and 1 as Calalero, his first carry of the night, only picks up 1. And here comes the special teams unit for the Jefferson J-Hawks. Ragland, 2 really solid tackles right there on that defensive possession.
What we saw last week, this is a really game Bobcat defense. This is a good Duncan Furch defense, and they showed up. They were stout on that.
Kyle Smith is back to return for the Marshalltown Bobcats. And the punt is away. And Kyle Smith will call for the fair catch at the 33. And that is where the Bobcats will set up shop. So Bobcats last week on their first drive of the game, they got a punt block. A special teams miscue by Mason City. Had it at the 20. Ragland got all the carries and it ended in the end zone for a touchdown. And pretty much on one drive, he almost tied all of his rushing yards from the previous season. So here tonight, good starting field position on your opening drive. Defense looked well. What do you expect out of this offense here tonight against the Jayhawk defense?
I don't anticipate it being a ton different than the opening series last time. Is if the Bobcats can control the line of scrimmage and see, it also comes down to how are the Jayhawks going to approach this? Are they going to crash in on the running back and make Jacob Hayes run with the ball more, or are they going to try to contain the 6'2" junior quarterback?
Ragland will be the running back behind his quarterback, and Jacob Hayes. Two wide receivers split out to the far side of the field as the Bobcats pack it in tight. Ragland, the handoff right up the gut. He'll sprint forward for 4 yards and driven back, and that will set up a 2nd down and 6 situation for Ragland right there. But you can hear the pads popping on that first play of the night right there offensively.
And what I like is, we talked about it watching film from last year. They got 0 push at any point in that ball game. Yards were almost impossible to come by except for the last 5 minutes of mop-up duty. Is getting right into it. So the Bobcat, much larger line this year, being able to get a little bit of push.
Ragland's going to set up behind quarterback and Hayes. Smitherman comes around in motion. Ragland breaks 1 tackle. He's near first down yardage on 2nd down and 6. It's going to set up 3rd down and 1. So yesterday I was talking with head coach Adam Goodin, and he says, I really feel confident. I like our game plan. Also in the same breath, he was talking about how they spread it out. They do so many different things. My first thought, and I didn't ask him, but my first thought was he likes the game plan. You're going to sit on the ball a lot tonight. Because what do you do in basketball, right? You slow things down when you know the other team's one of those run-and-gun teams. As Ragland, I think maybe had his helmet come out or something, and he's going to get subbed out for by England. And so we'll see Tyler England in there for the first time tonight. But that was my first thought, and we haven't been getting to that line of scrimmage until about 15 seconds left on the play clock. And offside, Jefferson jumps, and it's a 1st down. Bobcats going hard count. That's one thing we saw, last year a little bit from Jacob Hayes, trying to draw those other teams offside. Didn't do it a whole lot. You got to get, even though he was a Johnston Dragon, Dalen Houston was very good at doing that.
He was very, very, very good at that. But back to your slowing down the tempo, Wisconsin basketball-wise did that forever.
Yeah.
Limit possessions,
Wisconsin football does that too.
Yes. The state of Wisconsin, very slow. It's all the cheese.
It's a theme. And a handoff right up the gut again. That one's not going to do a whole lot. Maybe a yard for England as he's checked in at running back for the Bobcats as he goes off the left side of the offensive line. I talked to him on Thursday as well, and he mentioned, just how disappointing it was to lose Xavier Anderson. He did not expect to see 10 carries like he had 11 carries last week for 69 yards. But given the opportunity, he averaged 6.3 yards per carry. That is pretty impressive for a young sophomore.
Well, and I'm a person, if Xavier's healthy or not, you've got to get the ball in Tyler England's hands. I think he's a sophomore that should have got a lot of touches no matter what, and that's going to be a legal motion on the Bobcats.
Yeah, legal motion on 2nd down and 8, and the flag flies. The ball gets marched over midfield into Jayhawk territory on an England carry. It looked like he was going to have almost about a 5-yard gain, but this one's going to be coming back. So 2nd down and 8 is going to turn into 2nd down and about 13 yards.
And this is much like we're not built to come back from behind. We're also not built to come back from behind the sticks.
Yeah.
And this is where, they want you to think run first, and the pass being able to come off of that.
Hayes underneath center, puts a man in motion in Sam Griesel. Jayhawks show blitz. Everybody will check out their wristband again as the ball sits on the near side hash at the 44. And a timeout will come in as we're going to take a timeout with them. 7-11 first quarter, scoreless between the Jayhawks and Bobcats on KFJB-TV. Welcome back to Leonard Coalfield as the Bobcats and Jayhawks, week number 2. Bobcats 0-1. Jayhawks are 1-0 as the Jayhawks coming off a win last week as they defeated Muscatine 33-14. Next week, they will take on Des Moines North
No sacks, no interceptions last week for this defense for Jefferson as they take on the Bobcats, facing a long second down. Second down and 13, ball in the near side hash on their own 44-yard line, moving right to left on your radio dial and TV screen. And just as we alluded to, penalty flags not a theme last week, but definitely a theme early on here tonight. And I thought it was going to be on the Bobcats, but it looks like it's going to be on Jefferson for jumping offside here. So I thought maybe one of the guards got moving a little bit early, but all right. So we're back to second down and 8 after all that.
How about it?
And a timeout's gone, though.
Jayhawks have been bringing in that blitz, but that blitz, of course, is not for the pass. It's for the run. So they're bringing 8, 9 people into the box.
Hayes will tap a center and get down as Owen Eaton will snap the ball to his quarterback, Hayes. The end around to Smitherman. Breaks an ankle tackle. He's into Jayhawk territory down to the 44-yard line. So nearly a 10-yard carry. Or actually, I guess they were at the I was thinking that the penalty yardage, they were at the 44, but then they got gain of 7 right there. So 3rd and 1. Smitherman struggled a lot last week. He had negative 10 yards of rushing. A lot of that came on a pitch play that really wasn't his fault, but right there, a good carry for Smitherman. Maybe that gets him in a little bit of a groove as 3rd and 1, a QB sneak, and that will pick it up as Hayes drives forward for a gain of about 1.5 yards as the Bobcats are at the 43-yard line in Jayhawk territory.
And it's the adage at a 6'2", 6'3" quarterback, you lay down, you gain 2 yards. So if it's 3rd and 1, why not have the junior quarterback just ride the hip of Owen Eaton right down the middle of the Jayhawks defense?
Ragland, the single lone back, 2 wide receivers, one to the far side, one to the near side. Zane Moore is out there tonight on the bottom side of your screen. He was ill last week, did not play. Kyle Smith, the top side wide receiver.
And they're looking at those armbands again. Every single person has one.
Griesel comes in motion. They'll hand off to Ragland up the middle. It's a gain of 1 yard. It'll be second down and 9. Really not a whole lot of doing right there. I see a lot of pressure by the Jayhawks really creeping in, getting about 9 guys in the box. They're really packed in there tight. Do you think this is setting them up for later in the game with a pass over the top?
And that's what exactly. You go off some of that motion of a little pop pass. It looked like Jacob took a little too long to hand that off. He was reading his key on the outside there. But, yeah, it's simple as Jacob keeping it and a little pop pass to a wide receiver. I think a big play is available.
Smitherman in motion. Ragland gets a handoff left side. Ragland breaks an ankle tackle initially as he is brought down by Caden James on the tackle. 7 tackles last week in week number 1. He had 3 sacks a year ago. Ragland, nice yardage there on second down and 9 as he's going to move it to about 3rd and 5, so a gain of about 4 yards. Now, Ragland is going to come off the side here. Is there a warning issued?
And
Ragland, I hope he's not kicked out.
I think it might be a uniform thing.
Okay, all right.
It's a uniform
I saw him and Caden James get into it a little bit after, and the official was pushing him over towards the sideline. So, it could be something with the helmet or maybe a visor or something of that nature. But nevertheless, officials will usher him over, and that will put England back in at running back. Sophomore sets up, and Smitherman comes in motion. It's a keeper for Hayes. Trying to find a little bit of a lane as he's spinning around at the 35-yard line. He's going to get down to the 34. He's going to be short of a first down. It'll be about 4th down and 1 as the ball's on the near side hash. So Hayes running a little, maybe almost too far upright right there and got taken down a little easily and spun around. It's going to be actually closer to 4th and 2, and the Bobcats are going to scramble the line here.
I think this is the right call. Monge did make a 47-yarder last week, but you're cooking with the line right now, really getting some space. Looks like they might just be trying to draw him offside.
10 seconds left on the play clock here. Everybody checks their wristband. Maybe they want to get an indicator. Griesel comes in motion. Handoff England. He's trying to go around right tackle. He will fight through a seam for the first down down to the 29-yard line. And England, very patient runner. We saw him last week do that. And right there, he lets the block set up and then shot through a gap to get down to the 29 and move the chains.
Just, you see him right here off that right side, waiting. He's right behind number 68 for the Bobcats, just waiting. And that is Hancock, I believe, or Schaefer. That's John Schaefer, the sophomore, just waiting behind him. And Schaefer does a great job of leading the way for the first down. But as a sophomore, that patience that you talk about, that's a big deal.
Bobcats, the end around is Smitherman, and he's eaten up in the backfield. Boy, that play has been read 2 weeks in a row, and Nelson Evans just body slams Smitherman. Evans, a man amongst boys. He had an interception for a touchdown as a defensive lineman last year. He also had a fumble recovery for a touchdown last year against the Bobcats. So he is a man amongst boys, and he comes up with a big play.
That is the definition of staying home.
Yeah.
It came right back to him. And the coaches talk a lot. We talked about this last week. Smitherman, they love his athleticism and everything, but it doesn't seem the coaching staff has figured out the best way to get him in space and give him opportunity to use that athleticism.
Timeout. Head coach Adam Goodin not happy about something down there as he's barking out. As Talon Halstead was on the field, now he comes out. So 2:52 in the first quarter. We will take a timeout. This is Bobcat football. We're scoreless on KFJB-TV.
McGregor's Furniture and Mattress is your local furniture store in Marshalltown, and they are proud to support Marshalltown Bobcat Athletics. If you want to kick off football season in a new recliner, pass the bread at a beautiful new dining set, or lay up on a luxurious sectional sofa, McGregor's is the right play. Score the mattress of your dreams with an assist from their friendly and knowledgeable staff. You'll be the household MVP when you bring home the winning selections at McGregor's Furniture and Mattress, downtown Marshalltown. Open 7 days a week.
Welcome back to Leonard Cole Field. Brandon Lewis, Dylan Dose alongside me. 2:52 to go in the opening quarter of play, and the Bobcats have had about a 7-minute possession right now. I mean, this is how you draw it up. Although you have second down and 15, ball resting on the 35-yard line in Jayhawk territory after a big loss by Smitherman. Being told that head coach Adam Goodin not liking maybe the hustle out there as of right now.
A little bit too slow. Got to get in there, be ready to rock and roll.
Ragland is rocking and rolling back into the game, and here goes Hayes to the air for the first time tonight. Caught by Kyle Smith at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Kyle Smith. Bobcat strike on their opening drive of the game for 6.
Holy cow, when you running the ball that effectively, that pass is going to be open. Jacob Hayes stuck to it on a crossing route from the fellow junior Kyle Smith, able to high point the football and outrun the rest as a Jayhawk is injured around the 19-yard line.
Using his basketball moves to his strength right there, jumping up and grabbing that one and just down the near sideline for that touchdown. But a huge play for the Bobcats, striking for 6 right there as Jacob Hayes meeting with Kyle Smith, all fired up there on the near side, grabbing a drink of water, as one of the Jayhawks is down right now with 2:43 here in this opening quarter of play. But looking at that play, I think we talked about it just a few plays ago. You're kind of setting it up with all this running.
Yeah,
and two guys trip over each other, which did not help.
That always helps, but yeah, if you have all those people up in the box every single time and you've been running the ball effectively, it's as simple as that. You get one-on-one coverage that Kyle Smith is able to break free, and the great thing is you don't often see offside the field or anything. You don't see Jacob without Kyle too often. You don't see Kyle without Jacob too often. They have a second language that they don't even have to speak.
Yeah.
They're in simpatico for sure.
It was Uesto Nuikoli, the cornerback, who was injured, but he got up off of his own pressure, and he's good. And so to make it a 7-0 game, Luis Monghay is on for the PAT. It is up. And that one is good as it sneaks inside the right upright, and it makes it 7-0. Bobcats, 2:43 opening quarter. Bobcats take the lead at home in week 2 on KFJB-TV.
Sportsmanship starts with us.
As a student athlete, I need to model good behavior and represent my school appropriately.
That means respecting my teammates, coaches, opponents, the officials, and fans.
If I do that, so will others, and being a good sport becomes a way of life.
To all of Iowa's student athletes getting ready to compete, remember, sportsmanship starts with us.
Bobcats striking for 6 on their first drive of the game as that one started at the 9:55 mark. A little over a 7-minute drive for the Bobcats right there. Huge, going 30 from their own 33 all the way in for the touchdown.
I promise you perfection. Defensively, you get a 3-and-out right away. And then you come in offensively and you Wisconsin Badger them to death like Dick Bennett's coaching the team. And you just squeeze the life out of them, and then you run a little play action with a perfect 35-yard strike to Kyle Smith for 6.
67-yard drive. Mung Hae on for the Century 21 kickoff. And that's going to be the first touchback of the year for Luis Mung Hae, as last year, a year ago, for this Bobcat squad, one of the strong leg guys, him and Johan Gomez. But last year, 24 kickoffs, 7 touchbacks. As that is the 7th kickoff, first touchback for Luis Mung Hae. And the Bobcats defense back out there. A very quick 3-and-out for this Jefferson J-Hawks squad on their first drive. They found Nino for a couple passes, but weren't able to really move the chains.
And really it all came down to the wonderful play of the linebackers being able to stay in position sideline to sideline, not missing tackles, but staying home and getting Nino on the ground right after he caught it.
Benda puts a man in motion. Cololero will get the handoff, fights off Smitherman, puts a head down, runs over a Bobcat. He's up near midfield before he's pushed out of bounds, and Cololero strikes. Ishura Cololero, 120 yards on 15 carries and a touchdown last week against Muscatine. And right here we look at the replay, and boy, there was just good blocking downfield. He got the edge, and really it was just the Smitherman broken tackle that sprung him for a big gain.
Yeah, it's Cololero put that big right-handed mitt and took Aiden to the ground. Aiden's got to be better on the outside there.
Trips to the near side, snaps come. Benda will go to the air over the middle of the field. Looks like he found his tight end, Dayton Guy. He did, and he is into Bobcat territory over the 50, down to the 46-yard line. So 2nd down and 5, and a good drive being put together here for the Jayhawks to respond to the Bobcats' touchdown. Be sure to hit the like button and tell us where you're watching from here tonight, Dylan. As up on YouTube, on the live stream, the chat
press box is where I'm watching from.
That is
here
true.
Tonight.
Thank you for clarifying that. We appreciate that. Benda, for the first time tonight, will be underneath center. Cololero's the deep back. Brings Snowdy, the 3rd, in motion. He's on the right side of the line. And Cololero misdirection. He's going to run over Wilder and carry Wilder for a first down run. He's over the 40, down to the 38-yard line. And that's just a really solid run by Cololero.
Yeah, you see, that's where you miss Xavier Anderson, is that 6'1", 200-pound, 220 linebacker that's able to meet there. And you see right there that you see Wilder kind of holding on for the ride, did a good job of staying on him, but the Bobcats have got to meet them at the hole.
1st and 10 at the 38-yard line in Bobcat territory, far side hash. Pitch out near side. Cololero finds a seam. He gets past Ragland, runs over Kyle Smith, and carries a Bobcat in Wilder down inside the 20. As that is over, it is going to be a big gain at a first down, down to the 18, so it's going to be a 20-yard pickup by Cololero.
Yeah, Kyle Smith wanted no part of that. If you look as he comes up to him, it seems like Kyle fell down or tried to anticipate the contact before he actually got hit. You see Niehaus get kicked out there, Ragland, and there he goes. They've got our cornerbacks cannot be afraid to hit.
Benda out of the shotgun now. Cololero to his right brings Snowdy in motion from right to left. Handoff. Snowdy gets a good block. Cololero outside the tackles and finally slung down at the 10-yard line. But Calolero just eating up the Bobcat defenders. It looks like Niehaus was in there on the tackle.
Yeah, it looked Ragland was over in that way as well. It looked like Kyle Smith also got his nose in there. So good to see him bounce back after getting ran over the play before.
Jayhawks break the huddle on 2nd down and 2. On the far side hash as they are now in the red zone. And timeout's going to come here. And no, that'll end the first quarter. So 7-0 Bobcats with the lead as they take a 67-yard drive down the field to take the lead. But Jayhawks are responding as we head to the second quarter. A scoreboard update with Jeff Brooks when we come back right here on KFJB-TV.
At Sports Plus Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy Center, we customize each patient's treatment plan to their individual needs. What does that mean? It means that not every back or knee problem is treated the same, and that your program will be unique and designed especially for your needs or problem. This improves how quickly you will return to work or sports. The Sports Plus staff is encouraging and takes pride in your successful recovery. This is just one more reason why champions choose Sports Plus Physical Therapy as their favorite place to rehabilitate and train.
Looking at West Marshalltown, now night, 5 minutes left, 5 before halftime. Get the prevention, Cedar, East Marshall tonight, and Cedar, East Marshall, 0 to 40, Trail City, Dodge tonight, 0 12, and the Minerals, and 3 left in the first, 0. That's your Central State forward update. Brandon Maxon, Brandon Leonard.
Thank you, Jeff Brooks, as the Jayhawks offensively, they go to the end zone. It's in there for a touchdown pass, 10 yards out, and it looks like they find Jermaine Robinson for the touchdown of 10 yards. And that will get the Jayhawks right back on the board, 7-6. As we look at the replay here, as Benda is looking over the middle and right there in the slot. A late play by Sam Griesel. He broke late on that coverage and just missed, trying to tip away or pick that ball off. So 7-6 are scored out as the Jayhawks get on the board.
They had a little bit of trouble in the kicking game last year, and they do that again here.
Fire drill, they'll throw it out in the flat, and this one will be no good. So that will remain 7-6 our score. As the Bobcats, Ignacio Macias there coming off the field. He was getting the pressure on the holder, which was Ishara Calolero. And so 7-6 our score here in the second quarter. But that touchdown pass right there, this is a good play, but looked like Sam Griesel had a good read on it, just a little bit late getting there, and the Bobcats will have to be much better in that coverage.
Yeah, Benda did a really nice job about getting that ball out early. Sometimes you can hold on to it a little bit too late, want to make sure they're in the end zone first, but Benda did a great job of getting that. Sam just a half a step too slow, because if Benda would have waited at all, that could have been going for 6 the other way.
So the Bobcat defense gives up a big drive in response by the Jefferson J-Hawks on that 10-yard touchdown pass.
I'll say the Bobcats' point after touchdown defense this year has been quite spectacular.
Yeah.
Mason City didn't get any through the uprights either.
So Benda to Robinson for a 10-yard touchdown pass, and now the kickoff. All presented by the Poly Real Estate Team, Century 21. Let Kristen and Kurt Poly offer you the knowledge and service that you deserve. There's a Bizzo on for the kickoff, and this one a high one down to the 5-yard line, and Smitherman will let it bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So here comes the offense, their second offensive drive. First one is 67-yard touchdown drive.
And by capping off with that 35-yard touchdown pass, the Jayhawks have been bringing 9 into the box. Do you see them start to just go 8 in the box, or think a little bit about making sure respecting the Bobcats in the air?
So here comes the Bobcat offense, leading by 1 in the second quarter. Just 5 seconds gone after that touchdown pass. Jacob Hayes underneath center as he surveys the Jayhawk defense. 2 wide receivers to the bottom side. Hand off Ragland. He'll go right up the gut. And he is carrying 3 Jayhawks on his back as he approaches the 30. He'll get up to the 28-yard line. So 8-yard pickup on first down. Throwing a lot at Ragland here tonight, but he is, again, we talked about on the other side, Braylon Evans and some of those guys, man amongst boys. Ragland can also do the same.
Yeah, 8 seconds or 8 yards. He's a bull either way. He just rolled right through that defense, dragged him for 5 yards. Davis is just a football player. Looks like a football player, has a name of a football player. He just brings the thump every time.
They will hand it off to Ragland, and he is mad. There's a big collision right there. As Snowdy, as well as the big man, Jaden McCauley, they're in the middle. McCauley, 30.5 total tackles, couple sacks, and 2 fumble recoveries a year ago. And it's just, you look at that defensive line up and down, they are a pretty strong crew.
They're a thick crew. They're all strong but athletic. They're all quick. There are no dogs out there. They can just envelop you if you don't get the blocks on them.
Hayes underneath center on third down. End around to Sam Griesel. He's got the 30, and it looks like he's got the first down as well. And so on third down and 3 yards, Griesel has 4 to move the chains. And last week, Sam Griesel, his first varsity touchdown, he had 2 carries for 33 yards. Last year, he had 2 carries for 31 yards, all those in one game against Cedar Rapids Jefferson.
He was Jacob Hayes' favorite target late in that game. But, yeah, Sam, that 29-yard touchdown run last week was a huge one, cutting that lead, putting all the momentum with the Bobcats. He's looked good in limited touches so far this year.
Ragland still in at running back. Kyle Smith to the near side. And they will hand off to Ragland. He's going to put a shoulder down and approach the 34-yard line. So a pickup of, well, they'll mark it up to the 35. So it is a pickup of 4 yards, 2nd down and 6 coming. Ball resting on the near side hash. Still in Jayhawk territory. Or, excuse me, their own territory.
Davis is really good. His hands are so strong. You see, they've been prying, poking, and trying to pull the ball out, but his hands are so strong, that ball isn't even budging.
Tyler England back in at running back as he spells Davis Ragland. Handoff right up the middle to England, and he will get maybe close to 2 yards as he's approaching the 36-yard line. But this is one thing. Jayhawks are really keying in on these runs right up the gut.
So really what's happening is, Jacob in this offense, he's reading a couple different people. And so the first one he's keying in is on that defensive end. Is he going to crash in? If he crashes in, Jacob's going to keep it. But if he doesn't, he's going to hand it off 100% of the time. So far, right now, the Jayhawks are playing pretty straight up. And it'll be interesting to see if Jacob pulls one and is able to get a big run like he did last week.
8.5 minutes to go in this quarter, and that's a run to nowhere up the middle by the Bobcats. A late flag flies in, though, from the near side official on that pile, so not quite sure what happened down there as the officials will get together, but it was 3rd and 5, and that's about what it's going to be. Maybe a half-yard gain by Ragland right there, and so bring up 4th down, but it looks like we do have a personal foul on the Jayhawks, and that is going to bail the Bobcats out. It was going to be 4th down and 5, and this will pick up a free first down. That is a huge moment right now to continue the Bobcat drive as they started with 11:55 on the clock, have now worked it to 8:18, and now they're up near midfield and will have second life in this drive.
It doesn't have to be pretty, and it doesn't have to be because you did something great. Sometimes you'll take 15 yards no matter how it comes.
So the Bobcats, after the penalty, are in Jayhawk territory at the 48-yard line. 1st and 10, ball on the near side hash. Hayes taps his center. Owen Eaton on the right side as England is the running back. And there's a false start on the Bobcats. Somebody got moving a little bit early right there. This will back the Bobcats up 5 yards. 1st and 15 coming their way.
And that has been, you talked about it in the pregame. We've been so clean. And
Right guard moving just a hair early right there.
Yeah, it looks like Hancock got rolling a little bit too quickly. They were so clean last week that they just are not so far. Feels like just a little amped tonight.
1st and 15. Everybody packed in real tight. One wide receiver to the near side, Kyle Smith, stands upright. Smitherman comes in motion. A pitch out to Smitherman, and not a great pitch from his quarterback in Jacob Hayes. And last week we saw a couple of pitches that were not on point. That one also just kind of behind Smitherman a touch, which really just doesn't get him with that forward movement down the field. And it'll be a loss, and it will be 2nd down and about 17 yards.
He had to wait on it a little bit. I also felt like Aiden was kind of bunched up a little bit. Didn't seem to get a real wide angle. If you look, I think that's why
if
it kind
he's
of slowed
5
down.
yards more
he needs
out,
to be further out.
Yeah, he would have had a big lane around the edge there for sure. Bobcat reverse to Smitherman. He's got a seam at the 50, slung around to the 40, and could be near a 1st down when it's all said and done on 2nd and 17. Smitherman redeems himself. We'll see where they spot it, and it's going to be about 3 yards short, so it's a gain right there of 14 yards and nearly picks up the 1st down. Here's Smitherman around the edge as we look at the replay on KFJB-TV.
It won't be the sweet play of the game, but it might be the lineman meat play of the game. You see John Schaefer out there just destroyed the wide receiver out there. Number 68 created quite the lane for Smitherman to be able to sneak behind him.
3rd down and manageable now. 3rd and 3 for the Bobcats. England will get the handoff right up the gut and reaching. I think he's going to be about 2 yards short. It'll be 4th down and 1. Somehow the ball rolled all the way back to the 45-yard line on the other side of the field.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that happened, but
it was a stiff breeze. A stiff breeze.
So they're marking this
got about
1 yard.
Yep.
1 yard. 4th and 1 in Jayhawk territory. Ball at the 39-yard line. Bobcats just sitting on the football now. Approaching a 6-minute possession right here. Just their 2nd one of the game. If you missed it, it was a 20-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Hayes. A 35-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Hayes to Kyle Smith. 4th and 1. Bobcats will go for it. Jacob Hayes stood up but spins off. It looks like he might have the 1st down as the coaching staff is pointing for the 1st down. And as Hayes and the spot is right where they need it at the 38-yard line. So we'll see if the Bobcats have the 1st down, and it looks like they will as the officials will look down the line. They might measure it. As we look at the replay there, it looked like that last-second spin got Hayes all he needed, but he was met with a huge push and looked like the crew there, Nilson, Evans, Snowdy, all those guys getting in there to try to fend off a 1st down by the Bobcats, but the Bobcats ended up getting the job done here tonight in their home Reds.
Yeah, Jacob did a nice job of sliding off the hip there and finding as much green as he could. Tyler giving him a little bit of push from the back.
1st down and 10 for the Bobcats at the 38-yard line. Bobcats go back to the air and flags fly. And it looks like somebody get going a little bit too early again there, Dylan.
That's, by my estimation, is that the 4th procedural penalty on the Bobcats so
I think
far?
so.
Yeah, there it is. It's just, they're all just moving too quickly. There isn't any great thing I could say other than...
Well, when you run ground and pound, you do want to get after it.
Yes, you do. You want to be able
to hit somebody in the chops.
Rolling.
Yeah. I'm not sure. It just looked funny.
Yeah.
Not sure anybody really was a huge false start. It just looked like maybe a little bit of movement. Here go the Bobcats on 1st and 15. Smitherman end around, and he'll pick up that penalty yardage. pretty much right away, and they're going to mark him back a yard, so it's going to be 2nd down and 11. Pick up a 4 for Smitherman.
Outside of his family, I might be member number 1 of the John Schaefer fan club. I love seeing that kid block on the outside. He just makes holes for the Bobcat runner. He is really impressive. The young man is a sophomore. That's crazy to me. We get to see a lot.
And I saw him the other day, and I just thought he's got potential. He's probably going to grow a little bit more in height, be even more trouble. Man in the flat, England falls down, scrambling as Hayes. A late pass, England makes the catch inside the 30. He'll pick up the first down at the 28-yard line, and the Bobcats find luck as England fell down, got back up, and makes the catch for the first down. They might measure this, but it's going to be right at the markers. And here we see the replay on KFJB-TV as he falls down, just gets tripped up.
But you then look at the athleticism and the poise of Jacob Hayes. He gets able to elude the rush, and the sophomore, Tyler England, trips coming out, but he doesn't give up on the play. And that's a big deal. A lot of sophomores, a lot of second, when you only have one game under your belt, may give up on that or hang their head. Tyler got right back into the play, a big first down.
Bobcats with a lengthy drive, Dylan. This one started at 11:55 in the second quarter. Quick math, 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, there we've got 270 seconds to go, and the Bobcats do get it coming out of the second half.
And it looked like a little bit of motion there on the right side of the line. I'm not sure if that was Lincoln Barker, who's playing tight end tonight. Last week he got the start at tackle, but last year he did not have a catch or anything of that nature. And I saw Barker getting the start at tight end. I'm not sure who that was there. And it was not Barker. It was I'm not sure if they moved Griesel's motion there in the backfield or something, but
I thought maybe Hancock might have twitched, but that one didn't look as egregious as
definitely
the
not.
others. But that's nonetheless, it's a wooden nickel.
Zane Moore split out to the near side. Kyle Smith to the far side. Handoff England, right guard, and he is pushed back. Met right away on 1st and 15. He will lose about a half yard, bring up 2nd and 16 with 4 minutes to go in this second quarter of play. It's been all Bobcats possession-wise here tonight.
And with the wind, it seems like it's pretty dead, so the Bobcats are probably 4 to 5 yards away from the edge of Luis's range, kicking the football here.
Head coach Adam Goodin looking at the clock and the play clock. Again, I just kind of got the feeling that this was the game that they wanted to have. They wanted to have 7-8 minute drives, which they have done here tonight. Yeah. And it looks like the coaching staff talking to head coach Adam Goodin as well. And he is not happy.
He has been talking.
You think he's yelling at? He might be yelling at his dad.
He's talking to
his dad is up here talking to him.
He's talking to the coaching staff about
his dad.
Yes,
he's yelling at his dad.
But I think to go talk to somebody in the
I'm just pointing out how the turntables have turned, Dylan.
Yes, that's right. Oh, how the turntables. Oh, for sure.
All right, we are under 4 minutes now in the second quarter. 7-6. Bobcats are leading it by 1 in Jayhawk territory.
Oh, no.
A fumble on the snap. Jayhawks get in there, and I think they may have it. And easily recovered. And it's the big man. He loves the football. Nelson Evans, 2 fumble recoveries, an interception for a touchdown a year ago, and he'll let everybody here at Leonard Cole Field know about it.
He's very good at football. Jacob never had the football coming out from underneath center.
Wow. Yeah, he just jumped back right away. And, yeah, just there. And Nelson Evans did his best basketball box-out move right there.
Yeah. And this is where the defense has got to be able to bail us out.
So the Bobcats go on a long drive and ends up in a turnover.
Bobcats are in a 3-4 as well. They've switched from the 4-3 to a 3-4.
And a sack is going to be in there. Coming in with the big play. We saw him in the scrimmage. Nathan Sinclair, the sophomore, comes up with a big stop.
That was Nacho. Nacho was able to get around the ankles as well. Nacho looks like he's not walking real great. Here you'll see that defensive line be able to crash through, and that's going to be Nacho there, able to cut the legs out from underneath Caballero.
And Sinclair was holding his hands up because he was getting pushed to the ground. I thought that's why I thought he was celebrating, but no, he thought maybe a little bit of holding on that play. Nevertheless, Nacho comes up with a 2-yard stop. 2nd down and 12. Benda goes to the air, finds a man in the flat, and out just before midfield, as that one is going to be caught, and that will move the sticks. As coming up with the catch, it's all hair, but it's Anthony Christodoulio who makes the catch.
And he just ran that across the field and had Schoenfelder. It's hard to guard somebody all the way across the field.
Benda back to the air on 1st down and 10, and pick. Kyle Smith reads it at the 40, up near midfield and pushed out of bounds. Saw that one coming from a mile away. His first interception on the season. Kyle Smith having a night, already a touchdown reception, and now a pick.
Oh, my goodness. It all came. Benda got hit right in the chops. You see there getting through. Davis Ragland comes in, causes the ball to float a little bit. Kyle Smith read it and was able to come in, swoop in. Young man having himself a game so far.
He's really, so far, what I've seen last week and this week, his blocking was pretty good last week, and here tonight, he's taking a step forward. Year over year.
Plays.
Yeah, for sure.
Last year he hadn't played for a year. He didn't play his freshman year. Last year it seemed things got a little bit too fast for him. Athleticism, skills always been there. This year it seems it's all coming together for him.
Bobcats have the football, handoff to Ragland on 1st down. He's going to fight for everything he can just to get back to the line of scrimmage as he goes off of right tackle. Has a lot of pressure right now on the Bobcat offensive line. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. The ball resting at the 49-yard line as Bobcats have an opportunity to add to the lead right before halftime here. So 2nd down and 10. I don't think they'll sit on the football, but obviously with this offense being slow-moving, you definitely want to try to get something before halftime. You do want to get moving a little bit.
And we only have that one timeout. It's that from having to use those 2 timeouts early in the first quarter.
Hayes pitches out. Smitherman trying to get around the corner as Griesel kind of misses on a block there. Smitherman driven out of bounds and finally brought down as he maybe gains about a yard to bring up 3rd down and 9. So ball just over midfield. This is a tricky situation right here as you have 3rd and 9, and now Smitherman was heading back this way. He's going to hit the turf with 1:56 in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, he was able to, looks like is it an ankle over there?
Yeah, it might be an ankle. We'll take an injury timeout with him. 3rd and 9 when we come back at the 48. 1:56 2nd quarter, 7-6. Bobcats leading on KFJB-TV.
Wayward Social is the place for fun. With 20 lanes of bowling, leagues for all levels, great food and drink options, an awesome arcade, there is a ton of fun to be had at Wayward Social. And that's just on the inside. Step outside and enjoy patio life at Gutter Point with drinks, shuffleboard, live music, and fun atmosphere. Follow Wayward Social on Facebook for updates on specials and live music. It is all on South 6th Street in Marshalltown. Visit wayward-social.com to plan your next visit to the place for fun.
7-6 our scores. The Marshalltown Bobcats leading on KFJB-TV. 1:56 to go in the 2nd quarter as now Aiden Smitherman getting up off of his own pressure, but a little bit of a limp there. It might have been an ankle injury on that tackle as he was driven out of bounds. As checked out by the trainer for the Marshalltown Bobcats. So Bobcat offense will face a 3rd and 9 here as they come back onto the field as Permana will replace Smitherman out on that injury. You know, it's one of those things where kind of a tricky situation. 1:56, almost like last week before halftime. Mason City got it with 40 seconds. They threw a wide receiver behind the line pass and then beat him with the double pass. That's kind of one of those situations right here you want to avoid.
See how aggressive are they? Are they going to go to the air again where Jacobs 2 for 2?
Hayes has it end around to Sam Griesel. He might have a seam. He cuts it back inside. Did not bounce it outside. He's brought down at the 45. A pickup of 3 and a timeout. So 4th down and 6 it brings up for the Bobcats A minute 56 remaining before halftime, and that is a big deal right there, as the Bobcats will most likely have to punt this one away.
Yeah, he cut in on the inside of Verdinez's block and got what he could, but this is kind of, you want to be able to pin, and right now Jacob Hayes has been the punter, saw him warming up early. We talked about last year, especially in this game, the long snapping was not good. We had tons of issues with that. This year it's been a lot better. You've seen a lot better, so if we're looking to punt here, you just want to get something clean and see if you can pin the Jayhawks to make that last 90 seconds, 100 seconds a really big uphill climb.
Well, the Jayhawk offense so far tonight, a punt on their first drive, then Benda to Robinson for a 10-yard touchdown pass, then Benda with a pick to Kyle Smith. So a mixed bag offensively here tonight for Ed Miles, former Iowa Hawkeye. I'm sure he'll be rooting for the black and gold tomorrow in that rivalry game at 2:30, but he has 3 years of experience. He played in the NFL. He played for Miami, Atlanta, and the New York Giants. I talked to him pregame. This is a really good staff, as you see him right there in the middle of the shot on KFJB-TV. He's got this team prepared. They started out 4-0. It's hard to believe they were ranked 5th in the 5A poll at one point after being 4-0 last year. They went on to lose their last 5 games of the season, but he's definitely got this program turned around, and the Bobcats are going to go for it here, Dylan. 4th down and 6. They might be trying to get Jayhawks offside.
And use that
and you
final
can see
timeout.
you can see the defense kind of barking that down. Jayhawks have 2 timeouts. Bobcats just have 1 timeout. And that last timeout for the Bobcats going to be taken here with a minute 52 in the second quarter, and the Bobcats special teams unit is going to come out onto the field. So kind of a wise play. You try to get the Jayhawks offside, but they were not biting for it.
And it's a different thing. If it's 4th and 1 from the 40, you think about it. We've been able to convert that. But one thing to notice is Coach Goodin, again, was yelling up at the press box because there was 156, and he kept yelling 152, and he was right. So there's a lot of issues with the clock so far.
And actually, they declined that. They're going to take a 5-yard penalty and not use the timeout. Punt is away down to the 20-yard line. A pretty good one for Jacob Hayes. As Nenow will back off of it, and it's inside the 20, down to the 17-yard line with 1:40 to go before halftime. Time to work for the Jayhawks here offensively. You know they're going to be aggressive, Dylan.
Yeah, nothing over top. You can't have anything over top, and you've got to be able to get your tackles, because what I anticipate that they're going to go knee now, swing it around to him. He's electric with the ball in his hands.
Ashar Calalero stands to the left of his quarterback in Vernon Benda, and they'll pass out to the near side into the flat. Dayton Guy, the tight end, runs over a Bobcat, but he's out of bounds just over the 25 to the 27-yard line. And that's going to be a 10-yard pickup and a first down to move the chains for the Jayhawks.
Anga Pramana felt all of Dayton Guy.
Yeah. 4 wide receivers split out, 2 to the far side, 2 to the near side. Benda back to the air. He'll find a man caught up at the 35-yard line, slips a tackle into the 40-yard line, and that one's going to be caught by Jermaine Robinson, who made the touchdown catch earlier. A hurry-up offense here now for the Jayhawks up at the 40-yard line. Trips to the near side, pass out to Nenow, and Benda just fires that one into the turf with 2 guys all over Nenow. That's a wise decision there for Benda.
Yeah, and looking at Nacho just looks absolutely gassed out there, but it looks like Hinkle's going to come in for Sinclair and not Nacho, and move Nacho in that nose tackle position.
So 2nd down and 10 after the incomplete pass in Jayhawks side of the field here for the Cedar Rapids Jefferson Jayhawks. As shotgun formation for Benda, brings a man in motion. That's Nenow. Wide receiver sweep. Good read by Wilder, but misses on the tackle. Sidesteps the defender over midfield and steps out of bounds. And it's going to be a first down for LJ Nenow. And that was looking like it was going to be all Wilder stopping him for a loss, but Nenow just kind of put a nice move on him.
He's just an athlete, and it looked like Wilder was a little too skinny on his approach.
Benda drops back, passes down to the near side, out of play. As that one sails into the Bobcat bench, going for the tight end in Dayton Guy. There's that wide receiver sweep right there as Wilder just missed on the ankle tackle. And Nenow definitely a good playmaker for Cedar Rapids. So incomplete pass on the last play, 2nd down and 10 at the 49-yard line in Bobcat territory. Trips to the far side, single wide receiver in Nenow to the near side, and it looks like that timeout taken, false start. Looked like head coach Adam Goodin was kind of maybe playing for a timeout there at the last second, but ends up being a false start. It'll be 2nd down and 15.
Yeah, Benda's been good so far, 8 of 10, but he started off 5 for 5, and then out of his last 5 passes, he is 2 for 5 with a pick. If the Bobcats can pressure him, that's where he's been erratic.
Trips to the far side, one to the single side, or the near side. Benda back to the air.
It's a hold.
He'll scramble out to the far side of the field. And he evades one Bobcat, cuts it back to the near side. He's got a 1st down. There's going to be a horse collar on Niehaus. Did not drop him down, but it is a 1st down run down inside the 35-yard line.
It's going to be a blindside block on Nenow. It's going to, you see it, he just lifted Anga off his ground, but the terrible part was Nacho was absolutely tackled. It was a clear holding call that was uncalled.
I thought they were going to get a horse collar there on Niehaus as well because he put that hand in there behind, but I don't think because he didn't drag him down, maybe got away with it right there. But here's the play, and Dylan, break it down for us.
And there you see that there's an absolute tackle from behind, but here you see with the great feet from Benda, and as he cuts across, you're going to see Nenow come out of nowhere on the blind side, and that's what they called.
So that will, after the big play and a 1st down, it's going to be 2nd down and 10, so you march off the penalty yardage, and it's basically a redo.
We're back where we started from, folks.
At the 49-yard line in Bobcat territory. 52 seconds to go before halftime. Man in motion, high snap. Benda brings it down. He'll scramble for it. Zach Wilder will make the tackle up at the 45-yard line. A flag flies in. We might have seen a block in the back again as Pramana hit the turf in the area. So I'm not sure here, but this could be on the Jayhawks again as
Their body,
motion,
body direction
they're
going
moving
backwards,
back.
Yeah. And here, if we can see it, again, just a little bit too high on the snap.
Yeah, I don't think it was on. I think it might have been Wilder who was.
You know, a little bit. Is this a cleaner game? At some points, it definitely is last week. It also feels like this is a more engaged group of referees. The black and white seem to be a little bit more engaged tonight.
So 2nd down and about 16 yards to go here after the penalty. This has not been the most well-executed last 2 minutes of a half, and now a timeout going to be taken by the Jayhawks. 46 seconds to go before halftime. We'll keep it here as coming up at halftime, we'll take a look at all of the big plays in the first half. Also get a scoreboard update with Jeff Brooks back at our KFJB studios, and also get our stats and adjustments for the second half of action. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Get those upcoming game alerts by turning on notifications. And so far here tonight, that passing attack has been fairly grounded for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, they've been able to get a little bit dink and dunk. Really where they've hurt the Bobcats in that second drive was Caballero. He's got 75 yards on 7 carries, but he has a carry for 29 yards and a carry for 20. He's just brought the thump.
See Xavier Anderson out for the year with an ankle injury right there in the middle of that student section, cheered on his team here tonight. As I know he's in good spirits, but tough way to end your senior year for football. But good crowd on hand. The band is getting anxious down there in the east end zone. It's second down and 16. 46 seconds to go before halftime. Jayhawks with a football on the near side hash. Benda in the shotgun, trips to the near side. He's going to roll out to the far side. Pressure off the edge by Ragland, and Smitherman just misses on a pick. Nenow makes the catch over the 45-yard line, down to the 43-yard line, and that is a great play for them. It'll bring up third down and about 4 yards. Dylan, that was just toss it up and let your wide receiver try to come down with one. They scramble the line of scrimmage. They roll out near side, looking for Nenow again. He tiptoes on the sideline, and he's out. Fourth down is coming up, 4th and 4.
That is a great job. It's all, well, if you watch the end of the Chiefs game last night, it's a matter of inches.
For sure.
But they have missed. If you look, coming up the middle, is just getting held and not calling anything.
Arms are getting held. You know, guys are trying to, not sure, was that Schaefer in there trying to make the play? Or not Schaefer, but Hancock, I think, was the man who was trying to get pressure right up the gut. But nevertheless, it is 4th down and 4 at the 43-yard line. Jefferson's going to go for it. 18 seconds before halftime. Bobcats get the ball to begin the second half. Jayhawks drop back to pass. Pressure. Benda fires over the middle of the field. Is caught down at the 22-yard line. Brought in, as that's going to be brought in by Lucas Renard. And the Jayhawks are down the field. They will spike this one with 11 seconds to go before halftime, as they were down to just one timeout. I was surprised they did not take that one timeout.
And the coaching staff is absolutely livid at the game clock operator. They feel like they did not start that game clock fast enough.
So 7-6 our score with 11 seconds to go before halftime. And this is going to set up a 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. Ball in the middle of the field for Benda. He has 2 wide receivers to each side of the formation. Calalero stands to his right. Benda drops back, looking near side, pump faking. Now fires a wobbler. Can they get there? Bobcats collide with Dayton Guy, who is going to draw the pass interference. And now another flag. We're going to see probably a unsportsmanlike conduct on Sam Griesel. Something got said down there as he was walking away. So this is not panning out well to close out the half here for the Bobcats. 5 seconds on the clock.
This is not ended well. Let's see.
Benda with the wobbler.
Yeah, he came through his back early. It couldn't see it in real time, but it did look like he came through his back early.
So officials getting together and talking this one over. Pass interference is going to be the first one on the Bobcats. Taunting on Jayhawks. Wow, okay. So I saw Griesel kind of looking, but maybe he was just wondering what was up. So Jayhawks get the pass interference, but then the unsportsmanlike conduct came after the play, so it really cancels everything out almost.
As I understand, it may actually benefit because the pass interference is in play, and that should be half the distance just because of where they are. But the unsportsmanlike...
Well, they're at the 22, so I don't think that...
So that would be halfway, so it would go to the 11. And then because it's a dead ball, it'll be 15 back, so it should go to the 26. So it's actually a 4-yard pickup for the Bobcats, as weird as that is.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a benefit.
26
it's a plus
is where that will go.
That's the way you do it.
So 5 seconds to go, and they're going to line up Guzabizzo for a long field goal attempt. This one's going to be a 44-yard field goal attempt for Burton Guzabizzo. And last year, he was 1 of 5, and his one make was a 32-yarder. So this is going to be a long one for number 0. And the Bobcats are going to use their last time out of the first half with 5 seconds to go here. I almost feel like you watch for the fake here.
Yeah, I think you don't need – I don't think you need the rush. So I would agree with you. I think you're going to get burned more by rushing than you would otherwise. One thing I'm really impressed with the Bobcats, it feels like they have been resilient, but they've also played well defensively, specifically fundamentally as well. Yes, you had the penalty, but for the most part, it doesn't seem the defensive backs are not getting caught with their eyes in the backfield. They're not being caught out of position.
Guzabizzo's got the most drip of any kicker I've ever seen.
Yes.
As
that looks
the
good.
younger people. He's a good-looking kicker. The one leg sleeve, that's confidence, folks.
The Angel Reese of high school kickers.
So ball spotted at the 33. It's a 43-yard field goal attempt by Burton Guzabizzo. Fire drill brought down at the 30, and that will end the first half as the Bobcats take advantage of a special teams miscue and take a 1-point lead into halftime.
Whew. Quite the first half.
That was action-packed, to say the least.
That's action-packed for 13 points. Total. We had the highs and the lows, but the Bobcats with the 1-point lead.
Well, the coaching staff maybe not happy with how the timing and things of that first half went, but nevertheless, you've got to feel good about a 7-6 lead at the midway point.
I think what you feel, even the point lead's the most important, but bigger than that, they've controlled the clock. Bobcats have been able to control the clock. They're playing their style. It's long, prodding drives, and the defense has kept people in front of them. I think Coach Goodvin's got to be pretty happy with what he's seen from his Bobcats.
Bobcats looking for their first victory of the season here in week number 2 as the Jayhawks trail your Bobcats 7-6 at halftime right here on your home for the Cats News Talk 1230 AM, 93.9 FM, and right here on KFJB-TV.
You're an empty nester closing in on that retirement property. Chances are your plans didn't include mom moving in, but life happens and you do the right thing. Wells Fargo Advisors can help. For more than 125 years, we've created wealth management and investment strategies aimed at achieving our clients' personal financial goals. When retirement means caring for yourself and a loved one, turn to Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Advisors is located at 14 East South Ridge Road in Marshalltown. Call them at 641-752-5401. They're a member SIPC.
Miller Middle School turns 100 next year. It has served generations of Marshalltown students well. Education has changed dramatically since Miller opened in 1925. Miller faces a long list of challenges, including limited technology capabilities, lack of space for learning, gathering, and new programming to prepare our students for the next step in their journey. Voters will consider a referendum in November to reimagine Miller for future generations. To learn more, go to marshalltowncsdfuture.com.
At Greg Young Automotive, we go the extra mile for our customers across Iowa. Why do customers choose us and keep coming back? Because our commitment to exceptional service and satisfaction never wavers. With our extensive network of dealerships throughout Iowa, we leverage unbeatable pricing and offer a better inventory selection than other dealerships. Visit any of our 6 locations across the state and experience the Greg Young difference, where we'll go the extra mile for you.
How can you help Marshalltown High School and enjoy a mouth-watering burger at the same time? By ordering the Bobcat Burger at Legends American Grill. 2 quarter-pound patties with crisp bacon strips, sauteed onions, and melted American cheddar, jack, and Swiss cheeses on top of fresh shredded lettuce on a toasted bun. It's absolutely delicious. $1 from every Bobcat Burger sold is donated by Legends to Marshalltown High School activities. So, enjoy a Bobcat Burger and help MHS. The Bobcat Burger, another exclusive from Legends American Grill in Marshalltown.
Sportsmanship starts with us.
As a student athlete, I need to model good behavior and represent my school appropriately.
That means respecting my teammates, coaches, opponents, the officials, and fans.
If I do that, so will others, and being a good sport becomes a way of life.
To all of Iowa's student athletes getting ready to compete, remember, sportsmanship starts with us.
The Halftime Report, presented by Scouting America. Adventure on.
halftime. Bobcats 7-6. They have the lead here at Leonard Cole Field as the MHS marching band taking the field at halftime, and 7-6 at the break. We'll get to our highlights in a second, but coming into this one, we talked about it just being a level of importance week number 2. And the way the Bobcats performed in that first half, they definitely took it serious with that close 26-25 loss last week against Mason City.
The defense has been really good. Coming out 3 and out right away, then you drive down, take 9 minutes off the clock or whatever, 7-8 minutes off the clock, get a touchdown. I really think they are locked in. I think that's the best way to put it. I feel like they are up for the task, and it's really been good to see the Goodin coach ball club, even when the runs have kind of dried up a little bit. They've found a little bit of success on a couple passes, and they've withstood adversity and been able to punch back. So a real good first half for the Bobcats.
All right, let's take a look at our first half highlights. And, of course, getting the game started off, the kickoff went to Jefferson, and it was a punt on the first drive. Bobcats did a nice job at 3 and out.
Yeah, they kept Ninow in front of him for both of his receptions, and then were able just to swallow up Calolero and caused a real quick punt.
Then the Bobcats get the ball at the 33-yard line and take it 67 yards down the field as they used up about 7 minutes off of the game clock. And really it was just run until this play right here to Kyle Smith from his quarterback at Jacob Hayes. And using that basketball athleticism on the gridiron. And 6 right there for the Bobcats as they took the lead. The PAT from Mong Hay was good to give the Bobcats a 7-0 lead as we take a look at another look at that one as 2 defenders did hit each other, but I don't think that was going to matter. Kyle Smith was pulling away.
Yeah, he was using that speed to get away, the long stride and the speed easily to glide in to the end zone.
So Jefferson gets the kickoff. It was a touchback for Luis Mong Hay. They start at the 20. They go 80 yards down the field, and it was a heck of a response on this play right here for the Jayhawks. First play of the second quarter, and Griesel was just a half second too late from getting a pick.
Benda did a good job of getting that out just in time. If you would have waited at all, that was a pick.
So the Bobcats on their next drive, they fumble it as Jacob Hayes had the football. Kind of got stood up initially, but didn't really matter. He fumbled the snap, and the big boy in Braylon Evans came away with it in the middle. He boxed everyone out and came up with the football. So Jefferson got it back, but then just a few plays later, they gave it right back to the Bobcats as Kyle Smith got himself involved for a big one for the second time in the night.
Yeah, great rush by Ragland to hit Benda, and Kyle Smith just ate it up.
Then a punt by the Bobcats on their next drive. On that drive, they ate up a little more time, but could not do anything with it. They punted it back. Jayhawks would drive all the way down the field to end the first half, and they would try a 43-yard field goal, I believe it was, 43-yarder. They botched the snap, and it was no good, and that's how we go to halftime. A lot of miscues in the last 2 minutes of this first half. I mean, so many I can't even recall all of them, but a big one was a pass interference on the Bobcats, and then an unsportsmanlike conduct on that play. And so that's really the difference here tonight.
Yeah, you see this. They go up in the end zone. You see the pass interference, which clear there on Griesel. But because of the location, it ended up being plus 4 yards in the Bobcats' favor. But looking at the Jayhawks, they've had 2 opportunities to kick it, and they have never actually gotten to the kick yet. It's been 2 botched snaps, both on an extra point and a field goal, and that's why the Bobcats are up 1.
So 7-6 is our halftime score. When we come back, we're going to get a Central State Bank scoreboard update with Jeff Brooks. Bobcats at home, week 2 with a 1-point lead right here on your home for the Cats, KFJB-TV.
When my kids come home from camp, they're so excited. They go on and on about all the activities they got to do.
My son loves to go fishing,
Cooking, photography, kayaking,
zip line, archery,
robotics, camping, oceanography,
swimming,
and radio.
He's got so many fun stories that he would share that we just wouldn't have otherwise.
Being involved in scouting, my boys have made lifelong friendships.
I would recommend putting your kids in scouting. It's a great way for them to learn skills while having fun.
The Halftime Report, presented by Scouting America. Adventure on.
West Marshalltown at halftime, lead over South Campbell South 35-6. Watching the game right now and 2-6. Bottom quarter, UCLU tonight at home. Start halftime. 7-6. Center at halftime. Partner 0. Halftime. Northwest tonight. Halftime. West Trail 19. Valley tonight. Send Valley 10. Valley Ames struggling against Ames 7-5. East Marshall tonight. Having a great night on their second. East Marshall leads Cedar at 7 at halftime. Cedar Falls at Johnston. Cedar Falls 14-17. Dodge and City tonight. Fort Dodge leading 3-1 at halftime. That's your Central State update right now. Back to Brandon Noah to Leonard in Marshalltown.
All right, thanks, Brooksy. As a lot of good action going on around the state here tonight as we welcome you back to Leonard Cole Field. As here tonight, the cross-country teams being honored for their senior night. Let's join the festivities here at Leonard Cole Field.
Eliana has participated in cross-country, track, decision point, student senate, healthcare careers club, big brothers, big sisters, choir, show choir, and musical theater. Her future plans are to attend a four-year college to receive a degree in elementary education. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Eliana Rotten. Caitlin Yepes. Caitlin is the daughter of Myra, Kate, and Carlos Yepes. Throughout her high school career, she has been active in cross-country, wrestling, track, football cheer, Interact Club, Health Careers Club, and National Honor Society. Upon her graduation from MHS, Caitlin plans to attend a four-year university to pursue a degree in dietetics. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Caitlin Yepes. Mia Zazuta. Mia is the daughter of Roxanne Zazuta. She has participated in cross-country wrestling, track, orchestra, and MVP while attending MHS. Mia plans are to attend Marshalltown Community College after graduation. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Mia Zazuta. Our 2024 boys cross-country seniors, Lucas Vance. Lucas is the son of Megan and Eric Vance. Throughout his 4 years at MHS, Lucas has participated in cross-country, wrestling, tennis, orchestra, chess club, step, and Interact Club. He is currently undecided on his plans after graduation. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Lucas Vance. Isaac Van-Scooter. Isaac is the son of Sarah and Aaron Van-Scooter. Isaac has participated in cross-country, swimming, tennis, Interact Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, National History Day, Quiz Bowl, band and concert choir. His future plans is to take an exchange year to Spain through the Rotary Youth Exchange Program. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Isaac Van-Scooter. Jacob Kristen. Jacob is the son of...
Well, definitely a great group of seniors on the girls and boys side of cross country. Hey, thanks so much for commenting on the live chat. As Janet said, I love watching Bobcats here in Waterloo. I've got two grandsons playing in Marshalltown, JJ and Jackson. Also rooting for Bobcats in Tipton, Iowa. Go Tyler England. So anyway, good stuff there. Thanks so much for watching tonight on KFJB-TV. Obviously, we love our fan base.
It's a great fan base. We love to hear it. We get when we're out and about, hear from all of you. It's a really great honor to be able to bring you Bobcat coverage and cover. You see these cross-country athletes out here, but the wonderful ladies and gentlemen that we get to cover the Bobcat student athletes.
Halftime stats and adjustments coming up next when we come back. This is Marshalltown Bobcat football. They lead 7-6 at halftime on KFJB-TV.
The right insurance agent can make all the difference. Assured Partners agents represent multiple insurance companies. They can pick and choose from a larger variety of outstanding insurance options. Assured Partners also handles life and health insurance and Medicare supplement coverage. With access to local, regional, and national insurance companies, Assured Partners will create policies tailored to the coverage you need. For more information, go online to assuredpartners.com/Marshalltown. Power through partnership with Assured Partners in Marshalltown, Toledo, and West Des Moines.
The Halftime Report, presented by Scouting America. Adventure on.
At halftime, 7-6, Bobcats are leading it here at Leonard Cole Field. Brandon Lewis, Dylan Dose alongside me. Halftime stats and adjustments all brought to you by Ken's Transmission of Marshalltown. In that first half, both teams actually, when you look at the total yardage, not too far off from one another.
Oh, Bobcats with 111 total yards of offense, 65 of those on the ground. Not as elusive as they were last week with over 200 yards on the ground, but it's 6 carries for 19 yards. Aiden Smitherman on 8 carries for 22 yards. Davis Ragland. Jacob Hayes is 4 carries, 6 yards, does have a fumble. Sam Griesel, 2 carries, 7 yards, and then Tyler England has 6 carries for 11 yards. Where the damage has been done, Jacob Hayes is 2 for 2 tonight for 46 yards and a touchdown. The touchdown going to Kyle Smith on a 35-yarder, and Tyler England with a nice catch out of the backfield for 11 yards. On the flip side, Jefferson J-Hawks, 75 yards on the ground, 107 in the air, for a total of 182 yards. Ashara Calolero has 7 carries for 75 yards, over 10 yards a clip, and then 2 carries for 19 yards from Vernon Benda. Vernon Benda now on the throwing side of things. He is 9 of 13 for 107 yards, does have the 10-yard touchdown, but also a pick. That touchdown pass went to Jermaine Robinson. He has 2 receptions for 22 yards. Nye now has 3 catches for 14 yards. In total, there's 107 yards in the air and a lot of receivers for the Jayhawks.
All right, real quick, one key that you're looking for an adjustment in the second half.
I think you'll see a little bit more thrown from the Bobcats. I think they've ran that into the middle of the teeth over and over. I think you'll see a little bit more play action with Jacob Hayes.
All right, we look forward to it. That's our halftime stats and adjustments presented by Ken's Transmission, your family-owned transmission experts. Second half kickoff is next when we come back right here on KFJB-TV.
Have you ever seen what it takes to fix a transmission? It takes a lot of patience, a lot of experience, and a whole lot of talent. At Ken's Transmission, they have all the above. Family owned and operated with over 62 years of experience in all areas of transmission, keeping your vehicle shifting smoothly, and routine maintenance, repair, and replacement, including automatic and manual. For reputable service you can trust, Ken's Transmission. Ken's Transmission at 306 East Anson Street in Marshalltown is a proud sponsor of the Marshalltown Bobcats.
Bobcat Athletics on KFJB-TV is sponsored by Marshalltown Area Chamber. Meet in Marshalltown.com. Marshalltown Community College, a step in the right direction. And McGregor's Furniture and Mattress, quality furniture for every room in your home.
Well, a beautiful night for football here at Leonard Cole Field as those young ladies, I don't think they're quite enjoying the football game, but they are enjoying company here tonight. But we are enjoying your company tonight here, Dylan. We've been treated to a really good first half of action. Dylan, give a wave to all of our fans at home. Hey! What's in that room where it's really dark between us and
I think
Butch?
it's where all the servers are.
Okay,
all
right.
It's just jam full of servers.
Shouldn't there be some blinking lights? Maybe that's why we had clock issues.
No, it's been a really fun football game to watch. Spectacular evening as well. And you're just seeing a lot of players competing. Last year you saw all just getting owned on the line, and that has not been the case. It's been a stalemate a lot, but it has not been owned.
Coming up after the game, it is our Lily Mae Sweet Play of the game. And, of course, they're always open at LilyMaeChocolate.com. As our very own producer, Zach Tomish, got the Cyclone Crunch at Lily Mae. And you got the Bobcat Crunch.
I got the Bobcat Crunch
here tonight. Yeah, look at that at home. Keep it steady, Keith.
Right. There we go.
Just proof. We wanted proof.
Yes.
Okay, so I asked. He did not know. Zach did not know. What's
in
the
Bobcat Crunch?
blue raspberry?
Blue raspberry, sea salt caramel, and birthday cake popcorn.
All right,
It
and
is
the
awesome.
Cyclone is cherry, vanilla, and sea salt. I like it. That sounds good.
They do have a Hawkeye Crunch as well, which is the caramel,
Boo.
and then it is the Oreo, the cookies and cream.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Ooh, wow.
It's,
That sounds nice.
as long as there isn't Big Red Crunch, right, Brandon? We can all agree we don't like Nebraska.
Don't have any Nebraska popcorn there. That is for sure. Getting ready for our second half kickoff as the Bobcats will receive. They lead at 7-6 here at Litter Coalfield. And we don't have the time of possession, but it's about 90% possession for Bobcats. The only 10% for Jefferson in that first half.
They've done a really nice job of, and some of that's just they run the football a lot, and you alluded to, Coach Goodman's not excited about rushing them up to the line, but they've done a nice job of controlling the ball, getting first downs, keeping the sticks moving.
Gazabizzo on to kickoff. Kickoff all presented by Century 21, the Poly Real Estate team. New name, same amazing service, now with more options. Sam Griesel back to return. Aiden Smitherman. They'll look into the night sky and let this one sail into the end zone as Gazabizzo another touchback on the season to add to his name. So Bobcat offense will be out there to start off this second half, 7-6. Man, you would feel really good going up 14-6 at this point.
Yeah, you want to be able to, very reminiscent of what they were able to do right out of the chute last time, is if you can control, get the Jayhawks scrambling, and especially kind of where their kicking game is right now. You saw on the kickoff, there's enough leg there. They just have not been able to execute in that aspect of the game.
So the Bobcats out of halftime will line up Smith to the near side, just a single wideout split out. Ragland the back. Griesel comes in motion, hand off to Ragland. A bit of almost a veer right play to get Ragland a little bit more outside than just going right up the middle. Ragland will fight ahead up to the 23. So a 3-yard pickup on first down for the Bobcats.
Yeah, he just made that one quick cutback. It looked like a zone play there, that making that one, put your foot in the ground and find that cutback. I thought Ragland did a nice job of picking up what he could.
Smith still split out to the near side. Ball on the far side hash. Fake the handoff. A pitch out to Smitherman. Kind of has to have him leaning back, but he's going to get to the edge outside the numbers. And as he gets up to the 30, just a hair over it, he'll pick up the first down for the Bobcats.
Not sure if it was Kyle Smith or somebody was able to get just enough of a block. We'll see this here on the outside. It's getting it out to the outside. I think it's Sam Griesel.
Yeah, I think it was Griesel that bought him just a little bit.
Just enough.
Yeah. First down and 10 at the 30. Ball now on the near side hash as Ragland is the back. And now the Bobcat offense. We'll look at head coach Adam Goodvin as he is barking. And this is the most worked up I've seen Adam Goodvin in a while, as Ragland will carry off of left guard. And he's going to fight ahead for a few yards here. I don't know if there's just some miscommunication or what is going on here tonight, but that's one thing is in this offense, and we talked about him very well. I mean, everybody's got to be pulling in the same direction for it to be effective, and lining up and getting things on time is just part of that in the play calling.
Yeah, I had a good chance talking about a month ago, and he said timing's always important, but with this particular offense and the way they do it, timing is essential of having everything in rhythm.
Griesel comes in motion the end around, and Hayes, I don't know, there's something not right on that play, and he's going to be dropped all the way back at the 27-yard line. So that is going to be a loss of about 3 yards. And here we look at the play. Something was just not right. The guard ran in, went the wrong way. It looked like Hancock went left when everybody else was going right.
And in that play, and again talking to Coach Goodvin, he said it's 4 steps. Griesel in 4 steps needs to be right behind Hayes, and he was beyond Hayes by that time. And it just looked like he had nowhere to go.
3rd and long, a late handoff to Smitherman, and that play was eaten up, and it seems like some halftime adjustments were made. And the Jayhawks are blowing up plays before they even get started here. As 2 plays in a row lose the Bobcats yardage, they're now back to the 25-yard line. So it's going to be 4th down and 15. A loss of 2 on that play as Hayes is back to punt.
And if I am Jacob Hayes, I am punting as far away from knee now as I possibly can.
Good snap. Punt will wobble up to the 40-yard line and take a Jayhawk bounce. And that's not going to net a whole lot as it bounces and hits at the 40, back to the 38-yard line. So not a great punt, only a punt of 12 yards. Not how you envision the second half starting out. 9:20 on the clock as the Jayhawks will take over in Bobcat territory.
See, Bobcats have gone pretty much exclusively to that 3-4 with Nacho Sinclair and Lincoln Barker.
Which means the Bobcats have an extra linebacker in there. And not a carry for a while for Cololero, but he gets one right here to begin the second half as he goes off of right guard. He's down to the 35-yard line, picks up 3. It'll bring up 2nd and 7.
And stopped by one of those aforementioned linebackers. Lincoln Barker got in there, but then Davis Ragland was able to clean it up.
On the far side hash, 2nd and 7. Shotgun formation, 2 wide receivers to the far side of the formation. A man on the edge, Jermaine Robinson, who already has a touchdown reception. And a timeout's going to be called by the Jayhawks here in the third quarter. So at 8:38, timeout on the field by Ed Miles, and the Jayhawks will take one with them 7-6. Bobcats leading third quarter on KFJB-TV. Back here at Leonard Field, 8:38 in the third quarter. Bobcats are leading 7-6. But 2nd and 7 for the Jayhawks out of the timeout by Ed Miles. And they have all the momentum right now as they are deep in Bobcat territory. And Cololero with a big seam, bust all the way through down to the 30, inside the 30 at the 26-yard line. And that's a good straight-ahead run right there for the tailback, as he just found a seam and burst right ahead. And 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. That gets him deeper into Bobcat territory. High snap there for Benda, but good job to bring it down.
Yeah, Matt Helly was the guard that was pulling there, was able to get a kick-out block as well.
Need out of the far side, split out. Bring a man in motion, high snap, handoff to Cololero, met in the backfield. That will be a loss of 1 yard. Good job by the Bobcat defenders in there quickly. Lincoln Barker and Zach Wilder off the left edge.
Just that little bit, that high snap just throws everything a little bit off, and there's Barker, Nacho, and Wilder all there.
Shotgun formation for the Jayhawks. 4 wide receivers split out, bend to the far side of the field, and right at the sticks, it's a first down for Dayton Guy. The tight end catches it, and out right at the 15-yard line as they get into the red zone in Bobcat territory. And again, on the second drive of the night, Jayhawks did a nice job to get in for a touchdown to respond after the Bobcats. Now they come up with a stop, and now they're on the doorstep.
And I thought that might have been Benda's best ball. He put it right on the money on that out route there.
Trips to the near side. Knee out to the far side. Shotgun formation, Cololero. He'll receive the handoff. And no, Benda pulls it back, and he'll fire to the pylon on the far side to Ninow. It's incomplete. That one too low, and 2nd and 10 at the 15-yard line. So Benda with a nice fake handoff right there as he goes to the sideline to talk with his head coach after that incomplete pass.
I thought Smitherman did a great job. He blanketed him, and there was no chance. If that was a well-thrown ball, that would have been a pick. And this is 4-down territory, too, with the kicking issues Jayhawks have had.
Benda will break the huddle, and he'll be underneath center for only about the second time of the night. Snody to the left side of the line. Handoff, Cololero, misdirection. He's going to try to bounce it outside, but the Bobcats there to bring him down after a gain of only 2 yards. 3rd down and 8. So great pursuit by the Bobcats off the edge.
I'll give Lincoln Barker a great job. He was engaged in a block. He didn't get the tackle, but he's able to get one arm out and slow down Cololero and allow the troops to rally around him. I think Lincoln Barker has played really well here in the second half on this defensive series.
Yeah, it definitely has, and the Bobcats looking to come up with a big stop. Forcing a 4th down would be huge right now. 3rd and 8, they are subbing in and out, and there you go. I wondered if we were working our way towards a timeout, and we will take a timeout with him as well. 7-6, Ed Miles wants a timeout for his Jayhawks. They're in the Bobcat red zone, trailing by 1 on KFJB-TV.
Some drivers trade cars every year or every other year. Some drive their cars till they drop. Whatever kind of driver you are, Lennox Employees Credit Union is here to get you into the car for your style of driving. You're invited to go to our website, lennoxecu.com, for membership eligibility and loan rates, or call the office to talk to a loan officer. The loan process is quick and easy. Low auto loan rates from Lennox Employees Credit Union, 1004 East Main Street in Marshalltown. Member NCUA.
7-6 our score, 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter as the Bobcats are leading, but a first drive of the second half, Bobcats had to punt it away, and it was a bad punt. And now the Jayhawks in the red zone, but the Bobcats have made a couple of nice stops, setting up a 3rd and 8. Ball resting in the middle of the field for Benda. He's got 4 wide receivers all packed in tight. High snap. Benda drops back, looks to the near side. Beautiful catch by his tight end and Guy. A one-handed catch. He's going to get down inside the 5, marked at the 3.
It's a first down. Bobcats just a little out route. They've done a nice job. That Benda, we said it in the pregame, they like to throw passes in that 10-yard range east to west. And Benda's been pretty efficient on that. And Dayton Guy's had a good game here tonight.
Jayhawks break the huddle for the first time. We'll see them in the I formation. A really hot, heavy set here. Benda underneath center. And he'll hand off Cololero, looking to stretch it out to the far side of the field, and he has 6 as he blows by Smitherman into the end zone. And the Jefferson J-Hawks take their first lead of the night, 12-7 with 5:55 in the third quarter.
Yeah, Cololero, he's got some thump, but he's got some juice. Aiden Smitherman is hurt out there. It might be cramps, but it looks like maybe a hamstring or something. He just slows down, and then he just crumpled.
So it's a 3-yard touchdown run by Ashara Cololero, and that is going to be his second rushing touchdown of the season. He had 120 yards and a touchdown last year in this game. Last week he had 82 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
And he did all that in, I think, like 8 carries. So he's an efficient runner with that speed and power combo is a pretty big deal.
Here's the pass before the touchdown as Benda found Dayton Guy with that kind of one-handed reception.
And one thing they've done well with that is they drag Guy from the left side all the way across. And again, we've talked about it, but that's a really difficult thing to be able to guard. They were hanging back to keep everything in front of him, and Guy just snuck in across underneath the coverage, able to pick up the first down.
And it looks like they're going to go for 2 and not mess around with the special teams unit. Bend underneath center. 3 backs in the formation. And a pitch out to the far side to Cololero. We'll see if the Bobcats can pursue well. Cololero runs over a Bobcat, dives to the end zone, and the 2-point conversion is good. It's 14-7. Zach Wilder just got ran over by Cololero as he pushed his way into the end zone. As we look at the replay here, as he tried to go low but just could not. And that actually maybe wasn't Wilder.
Pramana had him.
Juan Pablo Perez was in there as well. So 5:55 third quarter, and striking right back is the Jayhawks as it's 14-7. Our score. Kickoff next on KFJB-TV.
Sportsmanship starts with us.
As a student athlete, I need to model good behavior and represent my school appropriately.
That means respecting my teammates, coaches, opponents, the officials, and fans.
If I do that, so will others, and being a good sport becomes a way of life.
To all of Iowa's student athletes getting ready to compete, remember, sportsmanship starts with us.
Well, the Jayhawks strike for 6 and put in a 2-point conversion to take a 7-point lead. Century 21 kickoff. Near side. Bobcats have it with Pramana over the 25 and finally brought down at the 26-yard line. So nice return for the Bobcats in Pramana as Aiden Smitherman was roughed up on that touchdown by Cololero. And he was out for that kickoff return right there as Pramana replaced him. So Bobcats back offensively. Didn't have a very good drive to come out of halftime. We'll see if they can respond here.
Yeah, it seems that interior part of the defensive line is really just starting to eat up the Bobcats when you're looking at names that we've said all night long. But it comes down to Nelson Evans and Jaden McCauley. They've been really, really good.
Hayes underneath center puts Sam Griesel in motion. Ragland off the right edge. He will have a nice carry as he spun down just before he gets to the 35-yard line. But we saw that on the last drive, kind of a little more of a veer play to get him outside of just guard. And that is a nice first down run right there to pick up 2nd and 4.
And that's been a nice little adjustment in the run game as you see just a gaping hole, kind of using that initial push against him, kicking everybody back on the inside. And Ragland's been efficient with the run as well. Feels like a big drive for the Bobcats.
Kyle Smith to the bottom side of your TV screen here as Ragland gets the handoff on 2nd down and 4, and Jayhawks just blowing up the play right there and getting in the backfield, eating them up. Darius Nixon, the junior defensive end, read it well, and that will be a loss for the Bobcats. It's 3rd and 5, a loss of 1.
And this is where you're kind of will they, won't they. They have run the ball in this 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 range. They've also thrown the ball. Again, everyone's looking. It just shows their assignment for each play.
Hayes taps his center, will get underneath center. England is the running back. Hayes looks to the air, dancing around and eating up. Back to the 25-yard line. Did not see anybody downfield, and it's a big sack right there, and the second half has been all Jayhawks as the linebacker coming in, Caden James, helps make the play, and that will bring up 4th down.
And you look at that, the Bobcats only have 3 people out in receiver, but it comes to
holding
Pramana.
Downfield, it looked like.
Pramana and Kyle Smith ran to the same spot as well.
That didn't help. Flag is going to be waved off.
And then, so basically you're just waiting on Barker to get free, but it looked like they had a crosser route over there, and they just ran into each other, or more likely it seems that maybe pushed into each other.
So 4th down coming up here as special teams unit is out. 4th down and 10. It's a loss of 5 on the sack of Jacob Hayes. And, yeah, you're right. The two wide receivers, it looked like holding on defense, but also they ran into each other, so that did not help the situation.
You're not going to get the benefit of the doubt in something like that.
And head coach Adam Goodin getting an explanation on the near side from the officials.
This is the most fired up we've seen him in quite a while.
So he's still getting an explanation as everybody on the field waiting. And he's talking to the back judge, who was the one who was kind of in position to do that.
At some level, you'd like to switch headsets with the room next to us. But when you see two receivers hit the ground, yeah.
It is interesting, and when you see a little bit of pushing going on, that's why I thought I was just interesting. So 4:06 in the third quarter, and the Bobcat special teams unit out.
Jacob needs to get a good one.
Last one was only about 12 yards.
And again, the play clock should be pushed up, and there they finally get it.
Clean snap. Punt is away. It's blocked. It's back to the 10-yard line. Hayes scrambling for it. Misplayed by the Jayhawks, but they recover at the 11. And this game has turned on a dime in the second half as the Jayhawks have been getting extreme pressure on the Bobcat offensive line. And now a block punt sets them up on the doorstep after a touchdown drive and a 2-point conversion. Have the Jayhawks up 14-7 and looking to take a bigger lead. But that was just a nice play by Snowdy. We talked about him in the pregame, and he comes up with another big play.
No one came close to touching him. He was unencumbered. Jacob had a little bit of problem with the snap, but I don't know if it would matter.
Trips to the far side.
This is a huge, huge defensive stand.
Shotgun formation as Benda will hand it off to Cololero. Raglan, actually, no, that was not Raglan, but a diving Bobcat trying to make the tackle in the backfield. Xavier Verdinas, the junior defensive lineman, couldn't quite come up with the stop, but the Bobcats pursuit well, and it's going to be 2nd down and 8. Here's that block punt again as just a little bit too slow getting after it right there, and Snowdy had time to get after.
Yeah, he looked like he just got out of the starting blocks and just had a nice sprint in front of him because nobody thought about getting in his way.
4 wide receivers split out. Robinson and Needow to the near side. Benda with Cololero to his right. High snap brings it down, fires out near side. Robinson makes the catch, dives to the end zone. He has his 2nd touchdown of the night. This one, a 10-yard touchdown reception.
Bobcats have given up 2 touchdown drives here in the second half. It's totaled 50 yards.
Wow.
They've given the ball in plus territory both times in this third quarter. Now the Bobcats find themselves down 2 scores and have thrown the ball twice all night. What are the answers that Coach Goodin may have on the sideline?
Bendo to Robinson, 2nd connection of the night for a touchdown. Jayhawks will try for the PAT. It's up, and it is good, and it is 21-7, 2:49, third quarter, right here on KFJB-TV.
In Iowa, we are fortunate to have a lot of opportunities to get involved in at our schools.
Athletics and activities have so many positive effects. From learning how to build relationships and healthy lifestyles,
and gain self-esteem and confidence.
Make participation a priority. You and your school will benefit.
third quarter, Bobcats down by 2 scores now. It was just 7-6 to begin the second half, but the Jayhawks come up after a couple of really bad punts here tonight. Special teams killing the Bobcats for the second week in a row.
Yeah, it comes down to that defensive line has kind of changed the game for the Jayhawks, which then produces, stops the ball, a short 13-yard punt, and then Snowdy just went on this. He had 4 open lanes in front of him and got the big block. Bobcats have got to answer and have not been able to flip the field. There you see the second touchdown pass to Robinson.
Kickoff tonight, all presented by the Pauley Real Estate Team, Century 21. Smitherman is back to return as he was roughed up a little bit ago, but he's back to return as well as Sam Griesel for the Bobcats as Bizzo on for the kickoff for the Jayhawks. For as fast as tonight's gone, it's also gone really slow.
Yes.
We've had a lot of stoppages here tonight with long explanations. Smitherman right at the goal line fields it, and he's out to the 25-yard line as he's brought down short of the 25 of the 24. Flag flies in late, and it could be on the Bobcat return team blocking downfield. We'll see as the officials will come to the near side, and holding is going to be the call. So let alone you're in a 2-score hole right now. Now you're going to be backed up even further.
See,
not sure.
I'm not sure where that came in. Thrown from the back, Judge, and I'm wondering if it was more on the middle side of the field there.
So the Bobcats, after the penalty, backed up to the 12-yard line is where they're going to start.
And it's almost been exclusively Davis Ragland. He's done a nice job.
2 wide receivers to the far side. Griesel and Smith split out. Handoff to Ragland up the gut, and nothing home right there. Those big boys have figured something out here in the second half as Anthony Snowdy, Nelson Evans, Jade McCauley, Darius Nixon all having really good nights here in the second half, especially against the Bobcat front. Ragland, the running back. Smith split out to the far side. An end around, handoff to Smitherman, and he can't get past the first line of defenders. He's to the 15, but only a gain of 2 yards. It's going to bring up a long 3rd and 8. And again, we talked about it in the pregame. If the Bobcats would find themselves in a situation, again, they're not built to necessarily immediately come back down 14 or consistently have 3rd and 8s, which they've had on their last 2 drives.
Well, and one of the things Coach Goodvin said it would be a flex bone, but would they throw more often than the traditional flex bone? So far, we have not seen that to be true, thrown it 4 times this year.
Hayes drops back, looking to pass to the far side. He's got Smitherman right in between his hands, incomplete. It's 4th and 8, and it's been 2 weeks that have been rough for Smitherman. He's been roughed up tonight. He had -10 rushing yards last week, and you feel for the kid,
ball.
but that was a great pass, and Smitherman just right between his hands. Right in the breadbasket, as they say, Dylan.
That's tough. That was at
Well,
least.
you need a play. You need something to respond, and you don't, and that's just the tough thing right there. I guess a late flag here on the field. Officials getting together. Holding defense, and that's going to be 10 yards and a first down. So the Bobcats get bailed out on the incomplete pass. Sometimes when things are just not going your way, they seem to spiral, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like Smitherman just needs a really good play to get himself right.
Yeah, because to the person, they all talk about Smitherman being a real problem on practice. It just has not translated yet.
Hayes back to the air, and it's a nice catch. Reaching back, Sam Griesel near a first down, makes the catch up at the 35. They mark him just short of the 35 at the 33-yard line. And so 2nd down and 8. Zane Moore's going to check in for Lincoln Barker on this play coming up, as everybody checks their wristband on 2nd down and 2. So maybe the penalty will give a little bit of second life for the Bobcats as they're in Jayhawk territory at the 33-yard line. Just 40 seconds remaining in this third quarter, down by 2 scores. Bobcats back to the air. Wide open is Kyle Smith, in and out of the hands, off of his chest, and it's incomplete. That was going to be a huge play to get the Bobcats into Jayhawk territory. And when it rains, it pours. It's 3rd and 2, and the Bobcats cannot catch a break. That was another perfect pass.
One thing you could say, throw it a little bit more down the seam, but wide receivers have got to give.
If it's on your hands, Dylan.
That should have been a catch, and that would have been a huge play.
Oh, man. 3rd and 2 now for the Bobcat offense, trailing by 2 scores. Handoff Ragland, left guard. He is going to put the plow down and pick up the first down as he's over the 35-yard line, up to the 37. Now to move the chains. Slow and steady with Ragland always there to pick up those 2-3 yards. But you can see what a little bit of a passing opens up that run play just a little bit more, not filling up the box with 9 guys.
Yeah, and Jacob's been really good with the football. He's had nice touch on the deep ball, been elusive with his feet.
Smitherman runs into his quarterback, and that play is going to result in a 15-yard penalty as Smitherman brought down a face mask penalty, but nevertheless, Smitherman just running right into his quarterback. Nobody is on the same page right now.
No, he is just missing. He ran right into him. You look like he's not where he's supposed to be. It's frustrating, definitely for the junior, to see some of that, but not having a lot of good success.
2
there.
penalties are going to help the Bobcats out tremendously already on this drive, and they're going to be close to being into Jayhawk territory. It's just the incidental variety, so it doesn't help out the Bobcats a lot, but it was a loss on the play, so it'll turn it into a positive. It'll be 1st down at about 6. They mark it from the spot.
It'll be 1st and 5.
It's going to be 1st and 6, Dylan, according to the scoreboard.
But according to my eyes, it's 5 yards.
Okay, all right. Hayes dropped for a sack. And that's going to bring up a long 2nd down as we head to the 4th quarter. 21-7, all Jayhawks in the 3rd as they've extended their lead as Benda. He hooked up with Robinson on the last score. Cololero with a rushing touchdown. Bobcats have to find a way in the 4th quarter to prevent an 0-2 start to the season. We're back with the 4th quarter next right here on your home for the Cats, KFJB-TV. Back at Leonard Cole Field as 21-7 our score as we head to the 4th quarter, and the Jefferson J-Hawks capitalizing on some miscues on punts here in the second half. One was blocked, the other one was only 12 yards, and so the Bobcats down in a deep hole now after leading 7-6 at halftime. They have the football, but after a loss right there on the last play as Jacob Hayes was sacked, it's going to be a long 2nd down and 9. And the Bobcats have a long field ahead of them just to get them back within 1 score. So we will get a scoreboard update coming up in just a little bit. We'll check some Central State Bank scores around the state. I know some other good games going on tonight.
Yeah, we had some we talked about. Waukee Northwest, Ankeny Centennial is also in action. Ankeny tries to get off the snide with Southeast Polk as well.
Second down and 9 for the Bobcats as we start the fourth quarter. Pitch to Smitherman, a double pass. He hits Kyle Smith, and that one's over midfield. It looks like we have a penalty flag after the play, possibly a face mask. But the Bobcats pick up the first down. Smitherman finds Kyle Smith. He's down to the 45, and some penalty yards coming. Here's the pitch out to Smitherman as the lefty finds Kyle Smith just in time.
Yeah, it was a nice put it right in front of Kyle Smith. Went up and high pointed it. He's really had, yes, he had that big drop, but overall I think Kyle's had a really good game. One of his first where you can see his difference making in both skill and athleticism.
The Bobcats in business after the penalty down to the 28-yard line. 1st and 10. Hayes rolls out to the near side. He's looking downfield, looking for Zane Moore. Zane Moore was held from behind. That should be a penalty. There is nothing on the field. Zane Moore trying to get to the ball, but no penalty, and that will bring up 2nd and 10.
That was clear as day, breaking out. Zane Moore was breaking out. You see it right here. As he comes across and they throw it out, you see the clear hold with the far arm. My goodness.
Wow.
Jayhawks got lucky there. Bobcats did not.
2nd and 10 at the 28-yard line. Ball on the far side hash. Kyle Smith to the near side of the formation, split out. Griesel, Smitherman on the ends. Griesel comes in motion. Handoff of the reverse to Smitherman. He makes a reverse outside the numbers at the 20, and he might be close to first down yardage. So 2nd and 10. It looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 1. And Smitherman, a nice positive run right there after he had the huge pass play in connection with Kyle Smith.
Yeah, sometimes when it's negative, it can avalanche on you, but sometimes you get something positive in there that can also start to roll downhill. And it's nice to see the junior put back-to-back plays together.
The Ethington Heating and Cooling red zone. Bobcats now in it as the ball spotted at the 19. Ethington Heating and Cooling, we're not comfortable until you are. Hayes barks out the signals. He'll drop back to pass. He's looking over the middle of the field. Oh, my Lord. What an interception. It is L.J. Nenow. The wide receiver sometimes plays corner and safety, and a one-handed interception. Jacob Hayes just throwing a ball up. He did not even have Smitherman really open, and that is a bad interception.
He threw it high and behind him.
And Nenow just reaches up and just brings that one down at the 9-yard line. What an interception. And miscues in the second half, doing in the Bobcats with just 10:50 to go in the football game.
He mossed that thing one hand and got undercut by his own teammate. That was a tremendous play by number 1. Bobcats have got to defense has got to bow up here.
Wow, what a play. Trips to the near side, one to the far side. That's Nenow split out. No, actually, Nenow is going to run a little wheel route, but the pass is behind him. He was in the slot on the near side. He's normally split out by himself, but they tucked him in there offensively in the slot on the near side. So 2nd down and 10 on the incomplete pass at their own 9-yard line.
Smitherman's been much better in coverage, I think. I feel like the cornerbacks have been pretty good tonight. Haven't given up anything over top. Really where the Bobcats have gotten bitten is its short fields.
Yeah.
It's extremely short fields.
Trips to the far side. Shotgun formation for Benda. Cololero stands to his right. On the far side hash, claps his hands off Cololero. Bobcats in the backfield right away, but Cololero is able to get away from some pressure. He's going to be up towards the 14, nearly the 15-yard line, and it will bring up 3rd down and 4 yards to go here.
Bobcats have to tackle cleanly here because in this third 4.5 or so, if you can get them to punt here with about 9.5 minutes to go, 9 minutes to go, you still have enough time. You have all 3 of your timeouts left.
21-7, fourth quarter, 10 minutes and counting. I formation. Benda underneath center on 3rd and a long 4, almost 3rd and 5. Fakes a handoff. Pressure in his face into the flat. That was Snowdy wide open, but it's off of his fingertips. Benda is on the turf. It looks like he is hurt. Looks like he's going to get up on his own pressure, but 4th down.
Zach Wilder
and the
sawed
pressure.
him in half.
And, yeah, it was Zach Wilder on the blitz and drove him to the turf, and that was probably just enough to prevent a first down pass play.
He had to get it out a little bit quicker than he wanted to. Just got it over, too far over Snowdy's outstretched arms. That was a huge 3 and out for the Bobcats. Yeah. And with the incomplete pass, there's only time has stopped, so there's 9:58. Bobcats should get the ball back with about 9:50 and should be in plus territory.
Well, that's something to keep an eye on there as Benda was getting checked out by the trainers as Wilder made a really nice play off the edge to get that pressure on the quarterback. And if it weren't for that pressure, they'd still be going right now. And the Bobcats really needed the football back, down by 2 scores, 21-7. 9:58, 4th quarter. As the Jayhawks special teams unit is out. Kyle Smith is back to return for the Bobcats. He stands at the 42-yard line in Jayhawk territory. So Gusabizzo out to punt, and it could be a good opportunity for the Bobcats to get their second score of the night. He has a good snap, and it's back. Gusabizzo gets it away, and this will hit near midfield, and Kyle Smith does not make the catch. It goes back into Bobcat territory at the 44.
I will say he waves the fair catch, and me is like catch it, catch it, catch it. But what I will say is if you're not confident and you're going, and he was going back.
It was a wobbler up there. It was not a spiral or anything of that sort.
And he was going back. Be better. If you don't feel good about it, stay away from it.
Well, the Bobcat offense has not looked real solid here in the second half, to say the least. Special teams miscues. Last drive, an interception over the middle of the field. It's just not being able to put everything quite all together here tonight.
And a couple big play opportunities that were dropped, and so they moved the ball well last time. They just could not get the execution late.
Hayes underneath center, hands off. No, keeps it himself. He'll pitch to Smitherman off of his fingertips, drops it back to the 40. And that has happened just too many times in just 2 weeks as the pitches just have not been there. And kind of takes a little bit of your offense out of your play calling, as that will bring up about 2nd and 14 off of the loss.
I think that was right on his hands. I may be wrong here, but that looked to be perfect.
Yeah, Smitherman did not have his hands up ready to field that pitch. And Bobcats, again, just trying to find something, but 2 steps forward and
17 back.
Yeah. Up the gut. Bobcats try to go. They fake the handoff, and keeping it is Hayes, and he's going to be dropped for a loss of about 2 to 3 yards right here. So 3rd down and long for the Bobcat offense as we are under 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and things just keep going backwards as Snowdy, one of the man to make the play on that one coming off the edge, and he read it all the way.
Yeah.
And there was nothing about it. Hayes had no time. Snowdy just busted in there and made the play.
And this is where it's a slower offense. And now we're under 8.5 minutes in 3rd and forever.
Hayes back to pass. He's got his tight end, Lincoln Barker, makes the catch, breaks the tackle. 40, 30. Barker trying to pull away, brought down inside the 20. And Lincoln Barker with his first varsity reception. A huge play gets the Bobcats into the Ethington Heating and Cooling red zone.
That kid's got speed in the pool and on the turf as well. That was a perfectly placed ball. You see Jacob Hayes stepping into a throw, putting it right on the money. And 87 got another 25, 30 yards after the catch.
It would be amazing to see the stat line for Jacob Hayes if some balls would have been caught tonight, because he is having a really good night. I thought, he's delivered some balls in really good placement here tonight as he will drop back to pass again on 1st and 10 in the red zone. He's hit from behind. He'll hold on to the football as he's gathered in by 3 Jayhawks who help him up off the turf, but getting in there to help make the play is LJ Ilofe as Ilofe comes up with a sack. He had a couple of those last year, but there's the play to Lincoln Barker on that reception. So after they've lost, it's going to be a big one, and that will take the Bobcats out of the red zone. It will be 2nd and 17.
You look at that. Great job by Jacob. It was that blindside blitz, and that blindside blitz, Jacob did a great job of holding on to the football.
That's the biggest one. You worry about getting it poked out, right? End around to Smitherman. It is read well. Smitherman will do his best to gain a couple of yards, but those end around plays, unfortunately, have not worked. Last week against Mason City, and the Jayhawks have read him well, even impacting Smitherman in the backfield before he's even able to do anything, as Nelson Evans did that earlier tonight. So Smitherman gets a little bit of that yardage back. It's 3rd and 14 after a 3-yard gain.
And for those misdirections of work, you have to get over pursuit from that backside.
Yep.
And the Jayhawks have been very, very, very
disciplined
in keeping their lanes.
Hayes to pass. He drops back, and 3 will grab him and bring him down. The whistles did go as Nelson Evans rips the ball out, but the Bobcats will hang on to it. 4th down is coming up, and pressure is in there, and it was just immediately Nelson Evans just moving that line and getting the pressure on right in Hayes' face as we look at the replay on KFJB-TV.
And he just split. He split 2 Bobcats. He split Owen Eaton, and I believe that was Schaefer, and just split them.
Snowdy was holding him up so Nelson could just rip it off. I mean, rip it out. It was just well executed by the defensive interior. Hayes on 4th down and 21. Looking to pass. And Snowdy, we talked about him in the pregame, and he is making an impact late in this one. Jacob Hayes sacked. It's a loss of over 10 yards, and it's a turnover on downs with 6:06 to go in the football game. Bobcats trailing 21-7.
And here's the thing. They are getting so much pressure with their front 4. They don't have to bring anybody extra.
No.
That defensive line, it's out of Mason City, the first 2 weeks we've seen, that defensive line is clearly the best unit on either side of the football field I think we've seen all year.
Just good. I mean, and, you're asking Ragland to come out of his stance and make a block there on Snowdy, and Ragland can get the job done, but Snowdy just a heck of a football player. Cololero on offense will get the pitch out on 1st and 10 as Ragland will drive him to the turf short of the 45 up to the 44, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 5. We've not seen Cololero a whole lot here tonight, but what he has done here tonight has been impactful on the ground.
He just went over 100 yards. His big add to the game was that second drive. Mm-hmm. When the Jayhawks got that touchdown, he had 60 yards on that drive, and he really set the tone. But, yeah, on 15 carries, he just went over 100 yards.
I formation. 2 split out to the far side. Cololero is the deep back. And they're going to give him on 2nd and 5. Cololero busts outside, gets past Wilder, spins off a Permana tackle. He's got the 1st down, and he drags Bobcats into Bobcat territory at the 48-yard line. And now 5:14 on the clock will count momentarily once the chains are set. And time against the Bobcats down by 2 scores.
You do have your three timeouts, as you see that just sprint to the outside. You do have your 3 timeouts, but if you're not stopping the run, and you need 2 scores, it's going to be a tough hill to climb.
Back to the shotgun formation, trips to the near side. Benda struggles with the snap, launches one to Ninow, caught at the 20, breaks a tackle inside the 10-yard line. Benda struggled to get the snap, bobbled it, but just launched one up, and Ninow did the rest as he has the Jayhawks into Bobcat red zone territory.
He put it right on the money. You see, I think, in my opinion, I think he put it down there almost purposely to really show the handoff, but Ninow was able to get behind him and then
back
score.
To the air on 1st and goal from the 8, and he hooks up for the first time with Ninow for an 8-yard touchdown pass.
Quick, but not painless. Little out route there, and Ninow just snatched it out in the air to get 6.
So Neenau with an interception tonight, and now is a touchdown reception as Neenau, 2 touchdowns a week ago. He has 3 on the season. The PAT is up and good. It's 28-7, 4:33 to go in the football game. Bobcats down big at Leonard Field on KFJB-TV.
Life can take unexpected turns. Maybe you started college, but life got in the way. At Marshalltown Community College, we understand. It's never too late to chase your dreams. Come back to where your journey began. Rediscover your passion for learning and let us help you achieve your goals. Schedule a visit today at MarshalltownCommunityCollege.com.
Marshalltown Community College, a step in the right direction.
Back here at Leonard Field, Bobcats are trailing now by 3 scores, and it was on this play. Neenau just kind of a little bit of a sit-down route, and the quarter's not ready for it. And he collects his 3rd touchdown reception of the season. Last year he had 3, so he's well on pace to break that here tonight. The Bobcats struggling mightily in the second half after leading 7-6 at halftime.
It came down to the punt game. That first drive, they got a first down, but then they had to punt. Terrible punt, short field, come down, score again. Then a block punt, score again from the 12-yard line. And then you get into pass mode. And that's where the defensive line for the Jayhawks,
pinning their ears back and just going after them, yeah.
So strong, so good.
Kickoff all presented by Century 21, the Poly Real Estate team. Kickoff away down to the 10. Sam Griesel has it up to the 20, 25, and plowed down as he's finally brought down by Eli Zabo. And the Bobcat offense back out here tonight as in the second half, punt, block punt, interception, turnover on downs. That's been the second half for the Bobcats.
That's fancy talk for not good. Has not been good.
Really a tale of 2 halves. You know, I mean, time of possession was just superior for the Bobcats. They had good line of scrimmage play, but Ed Miles must have got that defensive line fired up because we've seen a ferocious defensive line here in the second.
And again, we mentioned it, but the fact that they're able to do that with 4 guys.
Yeah.
They're not having to sprinkle in anything else.
Well, Nelson Evans just single-handedly – well, actually, no, that's not Nelson Evans. That's another big boy in the middle. That's Nazir Ballard, the sophomore, 6'1", 310. He looks like Nelson Evans. He just blew that play up right away, individual. And Jacob Hayes was looking for somewhere to go, but he did have nothing. A 77 you see here in the middle, just blowing this play up right there. And Snowdy from the backside was able to come in and kind of help finish things off. But, boy, again, that defensive line just getting after it.
I may just see if his parents need a job in Marshalltown. I've got connections.
Hello, would you like to move here?
Yeah.
Would you like to help us out? Snowdy with pressure in there. Pramana fields it at the 30 as he catches the pass out of the flat, but only going to pick up a couple of yards on second down and 10. It's going to bring up a long 3rd down for the Bobcats. They'll mark him up at the 32, so a little bit more past that. So about a 5-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 5 for the Bobcats.
I feel like the Jayhawks, this is a team that if they can get you down in the second half, they have that type of defensive intensity where they can just suck the will out of you.
Hand off the gut. This maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage as it was Tyler England with the carry, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 4. It looks like maybe about a gain of 1 yard.
You might see that the Bobcats looking to go for this.
We are under 3 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. 28-7 our scores. Jayhawks are leading the Bobcats. Ramada comes in motion, and he will come off the right edge and will reset offensively. And a timeout going to be taken by the Bobcats. A lot of window dressing with nothing going on right there. 2:18 to go in this one. We take a timeout. This is Bobcat football. You're watching KFJB-TV.
McGregor's Furniture and Mattress is your local furniture store in Marshalltown, and they are proud to support Marshalltown Bobcat Athletics. If you want to kick off football season in a new recliner, pass the bread at a beautiful new dining set, or lay up on a luxurious sectional sofa, McGregor's is the right play. Score the mattress of your dreams with an assist from their friendly and knowledgeable staff. You'll be the household MVP when you bring home the winning selections at McGregor's Furniture and Mattress, downtown Marshalltown. Open 7 days a week.
28-7, 2:18 to go in the fourth quarter as the Bobcats trailing to the Jefferson J-Hawks as the Bobcats will drop to 0-2 on the season. Jayhawks going to start the season 2-0. Hard to believe this team was 4-0 a year ago, ranked 5th in the polls, and then went on to lose their last 5. I don't envision this team going on a long losing streak this season. They look really well built. Sam Griesel on an end around. He's going to have a first down. Breaks a tackle, 40. 30, he's loose. He might get there. No, he'll be tracked down at the last second inside the red zone as the Bobcats, Uweza Cololero came from behind, made the tackle at the 5-yard line. But Sam Griesel, a huge offensive play out of the timeout.
Yeah, there was nobody on that side. And Sam, he just outran. There was one person able to get it. He just outran it. Bobcat fans at the end of this run were wanting an unsportsmanlike conduct as he gets up, he's then shoved down again right in front of the back judge, but nothing called.
Bobcats will run it off of right guard on the near side hash with 1:50 to go in the football game. 28-7 our scores. The Bobcats in the Ethington Heating and Cooling red zone. And so look to the near sideline. Clock still counting. Lincoln Barker will check back in at tight end. Only a gain of 1 on the ground by England right there.
You see this is a reverse. Sam Griesel, he had a big play last time. Sam's really picked his spots with it. His little misdirection.
Here go the Bobcats as Hayes will keep it himself. And this one off of right tackle. Not a whole lot doing right there. And this will be down to the 3, so a gain of 1. This will be 3rd and goal from the 3.
And one of the things with the flex bone is, you're reading your keys of who's crashing in. But when you have such a dominant line, it just messes everything up. It just, because they're beating every single block that they have.
England the back. Griesel comes in motion. Hayes keeps it himself again, stood up. Another gain of 1. It's going to be 4th and goal from the 1-yard line as we are now under a minute in the fourth quarter. See if the Bobcats can get a late touchdown to make the final look a little bit closer. They'll go for it. They're at about the 1.5-yard line on the near side hash and on the east end zone.
If I'm the Jayhawks, I'm taking this one personally.
Hayes tries to get in for the touchdown on the last play of the game, most likely, reaching for the end zone. Ball comes out late. Officials say it's a goal line stand. Hayes does not get in on 4th and goal from the 1.5-yard line, stretches, but comes up short. Turnover on downs with 13 seconds to go in the game. And this one will be all over. 28-7 will be our final. One final play to come here for the Jayhawks. But it looks like that ball going to be spotted at the 1-yard line. And they'll just snap it one more time here. But a disappointing night. Bobcats 7-6 at halftime and will wind up losing 28-7. All Jayhawks in the second half.
They just dominated the line of scrimmage. They made plays when the Bobcats couldn't.
Benda will be underneath center in I formation. I believe Uweza Cololero, the younger Cololero, is the back, but Benda will keep it himself. Quarterback run out to the 5-yard line, and the final seconds will tick off in this one. Bobcats punt, blocked punt, interception, turnover on downs twice to end the game. And a tale of two halves. They dominated the first half, but it's how you finish all 4 quarters And 28-7, the Jayhawks win it. They improved to 2-0 behind head coach Ed Miles. And the Bobcats now start the season 0-2, just as they did a year ago.
It's the same record. That you do like some things. This is a much more full, competent team than last year's was, but it is the same result. They're just when there's opportunities to get the big play, the Bobcats are not seizing those opportunities.
28-7 again, our final score coming up. It is the Locker Room Report, all brought to you by Wells Fargo Advisors in Marshalltown. We'll talk with head coach Adam Goodvin. We'll also name our player of the game, get our Lily Mae Sweet play of the game, and break down highlights and stats from this one. This is Bobcat Football. You're watching KFJB-TV.
Wayward Social is the place for fun. With 20 lanes of bowling, leagues for all levels, great food and drink options, an awesome arcade, there is a ton of fun to be had at Wayward Social. And that's just on the inside. Step outside and enjoy patio life at Gutter Point with drinks, shuffleboard, live music, and fun atmosphere. Follow Wayward Social on Facebook for updates on specials and live music. It is all on South 6th Street in Marshalltown. Visit wayward-social.com to plan your next visit to the place for fun.
At Sports Plus Sports Medicine and Physical Therapy Center, we customize each patient's treatment plan to their individual needs. What does that mean? It means that not every back or knee problem is treated the same, and that your program will be unique and designed especially for your needs or problem. This improves how quickly you will return to work or sports. The Sports Plus staff is encouraging and takes pride in your successful recovery. This is just one more reason why champions choose Sports Plus Physical Therapy as their favorite place to rehabilitate and train.
The KFJB-TV Locker Room Report, presented by Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown.
Welcome into the Locker Room Report. Brandon Lewis, Dylan Doze alongside me tonight. 28-7, the final score here tonight is head coach Adam Goodvin talking with his team after this one. A tough loss, especially after the way this game started. You felt like this was going to be a tight one throughout all four quarters, but I don't know what was said by Ed Miles or what happened, but that defensive line really got after it, much different than what we saw in the first half.
It just seemed like there were four Bears playing with the Bobcats in the first half, not really getting angry. The second half, that playing turned into a mauling. Those are just grown men that just impose their wills and sucked the life out of the Bobcats line.
Well, first half, it was the Bobcats, as it was the first quarter, as Hayes hit Smith for a 35-yard touchdown pass on a 67-yard drive, and that was it. 3 quarters go by, and the Bobcats aren't able to muster any points for the rest of the night. I mean, we talked about it, obviously the line play, but then also some of the execution, some drop passes, a punt was blocked. You know, it really just set the ball up on the doorstep for Cedar Rapids for one of their scores. So, I mean, it was not just one thing that didn't go right here tonight, that, you know, a multitude of different things that will have to be figured out heading into week 3.
It felt like that defensive line got going, but then you need to execute. A 12-yard punt is not going to get it done. A block punt is not going to get it done. And then 2 open receivers that they may still be running. And you drop those. Those are not – you don't get a lot of those opportunities back, especially with the type of more of a plotting, hold on to the ball, time of possession type of offense. And when you stack those, the Bobcats are not good enough to beat a team as good as the Jefferson J-Hawks if they're missing opportunities.
And last week, Vernon Benda had 3 touchdown passes, 1 rushing. Here tonight, he throws 3 more touchdown passes. You know, last year we saw Pfeiffer at quarterback. This looks like a Jefferson team that is way more potent with Vernon Benda at the helm.
Benda is very efficient, and he's accurate. Pfeiffer was neither of those things. This is a much better Jefferson team than what we saw last year. And then you get Cavallero. That dude's a hoss, and he's just becoming better and better. And Nee, now you saw that, but Robinson in that slot got 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
And as I thought he had a really good game. this is a really solid Jefferson team. I'll be excited to see what they can do the rest of this year.
And I really like Cedar Rapids Jefferson's head coach, Ed Miles, a really good linebacker at Iowa, spent 3 years in the NFL. I talked to him before the game, and he just talked about, he's always been in football, so he just had that passion to get back to it. He's up in this area because his wife is from this area. He's originally from Tallahassee, Florida. So it's really awesome to see. He coached at Linn-Mar, took a year off during COVID, and then finally got the job at Cedar Rapids Jefferson. And you can tell, from the Jefferson team we saw a few years ago to now, not even really close, especially the physicality standpoint.
And you just look, I watched them warm up, and they just warmed up in unison from everyone just kind of looking locked in. They all kind of had the pregame clothes on as well before they put on the pad. You look at the coaching staff, it's all kind of locked in, gray slacks, black, it just, everything looks like there's a culture set. You see Ed Miles talking right there in the center. There is a set standard and culture to this team, and you can feel it.
Yeah.
I remember 2 years ago, we destroyed them.
Yeah.
We were the only ones that saw it, but we destroyed them, and then to see where they're at in year 3 of Miles, this dude can coach, and he knows football.
Yeah, that is for sure. Coming up on the Locker Room Report, we will name our player of the game and get our sweet play of the game. That's all on the way. This is the Locker Room Report. You're watching KFJB-TV.
You planned and saved for your child to go to college, but medical school after graduation was a surprise. A happy, expensive surprise. Wells Fargo Advisors can help. For more than 125 years, we've created wealth management and investment strategies aimed at achieving our clients' personal financial goals. When opportunities surprise you, turn to Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Advisors is located at 14 East South Ridge Road in Marshalltown. Call them at 641-752-5401. They're a member SIPC.
Bobcat Athletics on KFJB-TV is sponsored by Sports Plus, sportsplusTherapy.com. Wayward Social, the place for bowling, games, food, and more. And Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown, helping you develop strategies for pursuing your financial goals.
Welcome back to Leonard Cole Field. Brandon Lewis with you here tonight after the Bobcats fall 28-7 to the Jefferson J-Hawks. Time now for our sweet play of the game, all brought to you by Lily Mae Chocolates, handmade, hand-dipped since 1939. Always open at LilyMaeChocolate.com. Well, it was the lone touchdown of the night, and it was a beautiful play as Jacob Hayes hit his wide receiver on this play right here as he hit Kyle Smith at the 20, and he did all the rest of the work to coast into the end zone, and that gave the Bobcats an early lead at 2:43 in the first quarter on a 67-yard touchdown drive. As here's another look at that on KFJB-TV. Kyle Smith pulling away. Definitely a very good night tonight for Kyle Smith. That is our sweet play of the game. And speaking of Kyle Smith, time for our Opa Grill of Marshalltown Player of the Game. Greek and traditional favorites. All you have to say is Opa. Kyle Smith, our player of the game. 2 receptions, 52 yards, and a touchdown here tonight, as he is our player of the game. He also had an interception. Yeah, he picked off Vernon Benda in the second quarter tonight, and that was a really nice play by Kyle Smith, as he is our player of the game tonight. All brought to you by Opa Grill in Marshalltown. Each week, Opa Grill awards a $25 gift certificate to the Bobcat player of the game. This is the Locker Room Report. You're watching KFJB-TV.
What does OPA mean? OPA means joy, enthusiasm, and approval. And when you dine at OPA Grill in Marshalltown, you'll understand why. With their made-to-order pasta, soups, and salads made daily with the freshest ingredients. Favorites include chicken parmesan pan-fried to perfection, fresh and light chicken lemon rice soup, and their signature OPA salad topped with seasoned gyro meat. OPA Grill Family Restaurant in Marshalltown, where you can dine in or drive through. All you have to say is OPA!
You look forward to retirement as your time to relax. But now that it's here, turns out relaxation is overrated and you'd rather get back to work with an idea of your own. Wells Fargo Advisors can help. For more than 125 years, we've created wealth management and investment strategies aimed at achieving our clients' personal financial goals. When retirement plans change course, turn to Wells Fargo Advisors. Together, we'll go far.
Wells Fargo Advisors is located at 14 East South Ridge Road in Marshalltown. Call them at 641-752-5401. They're a member SIPC.
The KFJB-TV Locker Room Report, presented by Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown.
From the KFJB Studios, I'm Jeff Rose. I'm Jeff Rose with the scoreboard update. Tonight we're looking at Grundy Center at Pregame. Center takes down Appleton 43-7. That's Marshall first win of the season, 6 over South. That was at home in State Center tonight. Marshall also picks up their second win tonight over Cedar 40-21. Unesco falls Audubon night 44. And Nevada rolling story this evening. Also some notable games, watching West falls to West tonight, 29-40. Ames falls to Centennial 55, and the Valley Tigers fall to Dowling in overtime this evening, 26. Also Newton's Dallas Center grind 28-7. Your Central State Bank now back to Brandon Lewis and Billy Nose field in Marshalltown.
All right, thanks, Jeff. As we will take another quick timeout, and when we come back, we will have a chat with our post-game interview with head coach Adam Goodin. This is the Locker Room Report. You're watching KFJB-TV.
Miller Middle School turns 100 next year. It has served generations of Marshalltown students well. Education has changed dramatically since Miller opened in 1925. Miller faces a long list of challenges, including limited technology capabilities, lack of space for learning, gathering, and new programming to prepare our students for the next step in their journey. Voters will consider a referendum in November to reimagine Miller for future generations. To learn more, go to marshalltowncsdfuture.com.
How can you help Marshalltown High School and enjoy a mouth-watering burger at the same time? By ordering the Bobcat Burger at Legends American Grill. 2 quarter-pound patties with crisp bacon strips, sauteed onions, and melted American cheddar, jack, and Swiss cheeses on top of fresh shredded lettuce on a toasted bun. It's absolutely delicious. $1 from every Bobcat Burger sold is donated by Legends to Marshalltown High School activities. So, enjoy a Bobcat Burger and help MHS. The Bobcat Burger, another exclusive from Legends American Grill in Marshalltown.
The KFJB-TV Locker Room Report, presented by Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown.
Our post-game chat with head coach Adam Goodin, all brought to you by Edward Jones, Zach Wall, your financial advisors in Marshalltown. 28-7, our final score. Dylan is down on the field with head coach Adam Goodin.
Thank you, Brandon. Here with Coach Adam Goodin. Coach, starting in that first half, it really seemed defense came out 3 and out, and then it looked like you wanted to control the clock and really pick up those first downs. Can you talk about the beginning of the way the game went tonight?
It was awesome. Yeah, like you said, we took a lot of time off the clock, and then we executed a great. We protected it well, and Jacob put a ball right on Kyle, and he did the rest, and it was awesome. That's exactly what we're asking out of our kids to do. So it was a great first quarter.
And if you follow Bobcat Athletics, you know that number 7, Kyle Smith, is a unique athlete, very skilled, and we've talked about it, but it really seemed that first half with the touchdown on the 35-yard pass and then the interception, like that skill starting to translate to on-field production. What can you say about the junior wide receiver and defensive back?
Well, he's a competitor, and he hates losing. So and he's a leader too. On top of the skill, we know he's got that. He's a smart kid. He's always wanting to learn and looking to get better every single day. So we're fortunate to have him.
And then you go into the second half. Right before that first half, defense was able to get just enough to get that to go in the half with the 7-6 lead. Coming out, get the ball first, look like you want to be able to do something, and it seemed like there was some shift. That defensive line group for the Jayhawks is a really, really good group. Can you talk about what kind of pressure that put on your offensive line out of that group of 4?
Yeah, I think first off, there's some really big kids, and I think our kids, they fought hard, and their effort was solid. And they switched some things up just kind of randomly, which was tough. They were in that bear front, and then they go back to their normal 4-3, and then I don't know if that it's fronts that our kids are familiar with. We practice against it every single day, and I think it all comes down to just executing when the opportunity comes. Too many missed chances today.
And, yeah, you talk about the effort's always there. It seems like the execution has lagged behind a couple huge, big opportunities. Forced to throw. Looked like Hayes had some good balls there tonight. Moving forward, 0-2. You do get a couple key people back next week. As you look forward, what's this weekend into Monday looking like? What are you telling the team?
We got to rest up a little bit, make sure our bodies are right, just like every other weekend, and then Monday afternoon we'll get to Davenport Northfilm, and then we'll watch ours and hopefully learn from it. They're high school kids. We got to learn from our mistakes, and that's our main focus. We talk to them all the time. These are fixable, but at some point, when, like I said, when the opportunity rises, we got to execute, to win football games. So,
thank you very much, Coach. Back to you, Brandon.
All right, thanks, Dylan. That is our postgame channel brought to you by Edward Jones, Zach Wall, your financial advisor in Marshalltown. We'll wrap things up from Leonard Coldfield when we come back. This is Bobcat Football. You're listening to News Talk 1230 AM, 93.9 FM, and right here on KFJB-TV.
Don't let concerns about shifts in the market disrupt your long-term financial goals. Edward Jones financial advisor Zach Wall can help. He'll work with you on an investment strategy for long-term results. Edward Jones can give you the tools and knowledge for a steady approach to hitting your financial targets. Get started by giving Zach Wall a call at 641-752-3017 in Marshalltown or visiting edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
.62, Coach. 62. First out. We're doing this so that the kids can continue to play. Like we used to enjoy playing when I was in high school. I understand how fun it was, and I want that same fun to be had by the kids now. So that's why we need more officials to keep these games going on.
The KFJB-TV Locker Room Report, presented by Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown.
One final time at Leonard Coldfield, 28-7 again, the final score as the Jefferson J-Hawks take down your Marshalltown Bobcats here tonight. Jayhawks now 2-0. They won last week at Muscatine. And then next week they're going to go take on Des Moines North. So this is very good avenue for them to start the season 3-0. Meanwhile, for the Marshalltown Bobcats, 0-2 on the season after a opening season 1-point loss to the Mason City Riverhawks. 28-7 they lose here tonight. And coming up next week, they will be on the road for the first time this season as they take on Davenport North Friday night. 6:30 pregame, 7:30 is kickoff. Before then, though, Tuesday night, we hope to have you along the Highway 30 rivalry in the Conference of Champions. Marshalltown Ames volleyball action. That'll be a good one. Bobcats won it last year. We'll see if they can do it again. Then Bobcat Live on Thursday night from 6 to 7 at Wayward Social. We'll be out on the patio if it's nice. Hope to see you there. And then football on Friday night. Dylan, any final thoughts here tonight on a football Friday night 28-7 loss?
I appreciate what Coach Goodvin said. You know what you need to fix? At some point you got to fix it. Bobcats have got to go from effort to execution. So a lot to work on.
Yeah.
A lot to grow on because this is a much better football team than it was last year. I think it's better than an 0-2 team as well.
Yeah, that is for sure. Definitely had their opportunities over the last couple of weeks. Thanks so much to our KFJB-TV crew here tonight. As our radio producer back at the studios, Jeff Brooks on stats tonight, David Braga, Keith Stewart, Joe Cornwell on camera, Zach Tomish, our producer on site. For Dylan Does, I'm Brandon Lewis. Have a great rest of your Friday night. You have been watching Marshalltown Bobcat football right here on your home for the Cats, KFJB-TV.
Bobcat Athletics on KFJB-TV is made possible by Assured Partners, Greg Young of Marshalltown, Lennox Employees Credit Union, Marshalltown Area Chamber, Marshalltown Community College, the Gregors Furniture and Mattress, Sports Plus, Wayward Social, Wells Fargo Advisors of Marshalltown, Marshalltown School District, Scooters of Marshalltown, State Farm, mtownproud.com.